Welcome to the first podcast of spirituality, diversity of beliefs, and experiences. Oh my goodness. We are here with founder Carp.
Hello, I'm
Hi.
Carp.
They can see that. Big Carp. I thought it was so funny. when you appeared on screen, you were just huge. I was like, that's hilarious. Big fish.
Alright, for a rundown of what I am to be speaking of here, I've mostly compiled a list of, deities, mostly of draconic or, serpentine, origin.
I saw Tiamat in there. I saw Ryujin. I'm probably pronouncing that super weird, but which I'm familiar with them because I play Smite, and in that game, like all of the characters you can play as are gods from different mythologies, and so yeah, they're in there.
Yeah, they are in there. As mostly I'm gonna be talking in sections, in a section type, way. And, whatever questions you have, you are more than happy to answer. It's ask.
Cool. So yeah, I just have a couple questions to get started here. I mentioned to you earlier. I wanted to ask, why is Asian folklore significant to you? Why do you have an interest in it? What role kind of does it play in your life and things like that?
To be honest, I'm not that whole much of a spiritual person, but I do have interest in the topics of, say, like oceanic type, creatures that are depicted in history or in folklore. And just because, especially in Asian cultures, there's a lot of superstition type, mythological creatures that are mostly made to scare children.
That's so true. Like with Nordic and Icelandic folklore too, that's a really big theme.
Okay. Instead of further, I was supposed to say question your answer. Answer your question.
Question my answer.
Question your answer. Why did you ask me this? Why am I here? It's generally, I just generally find it a fun topic to speak about, and I like to learn other people's views.
Me too. Me too. That's why I'm doing this. I find that I don't know. This doesn't branch off into anything, but mostly just a comment. But I really find it interesting the diversity between people who study mythology because they think it's interesting and people who study mythology because they are spiritually involved. And I just like that there's that kind of again, I'm just going to reuse the word diversity. I like that there's that kind of diversity between those groups in one subject.
There's this interpretation with people that speak about topics that they are just cultists. Everyone's a cultist of some sort. And that they're diehard, God fans.
All right. So yeah, do you want to get started on your little intro of what you'd like to start talking about?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, first here, our first topic here will be on the Dragon Sea of the god Ryujin. So he is, especially a big figure in Japanese culture, and oh shit, what did I write here again? And his image is a powerful symbol of the ocean's duality of being a torrent and also whatchamacallit, a thing of creation. That's it. And it says he's often depicted as a benevolent guardian who also has like a soft and watchful presence, and that always keeps the ocean at bay. But also when he's, angry and whatever, it's just a reminder to don't fuck with nature.
Yeah, right.
And oh yeah, but yeah, mostly his teachings are of just keep the ocean at bay, and keep respect your elders. I don't know why that's there. And he's mostly revered by fishermen for like good harvests and the fishing seasons, which I'm guessing like in the winter time, because fish in the winter time, fish are like they eat a shit ton of things in the winter to like fatten up, which I actually get sick when I eat fish in the winter because of how
Only in the
much
winter?
fat content it is. Yes,
Interesting.
because they're high fat content. And and with things of gifts as well, there's of course there's always the other side of the coin of being a potential threat. And and yet the overall like moral of him is that the forces of nature, through horrible powerful, operate with a very delicate balance. If human beings honor the harmony using these subtle methods and engaging respectfully towards the oceans, natural world will take natural will take care of us as well. And here we go to the next section. Here is his domain here, which is a really, 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 really big castle made of coral and pearls and gems.
Ooh.
Primarily of corals. I forgot to write its actual name here. It's referred to as Ryujin in poetically. But it has another name. I forgot what it was. Oh, it's called Ryujugo. Ryugugo. It's a bunch of accent notes there. And oh no, I did write it down here. I'm blind. It's more commonly known as Ryujugo. And there is known as Ryujin in certain poetic writings. And it says here that Ryujin here is the border between the secular world of humans and the sacred world of the sea gods. And it's a kingdom where time does not flow like up above.
Mm. It's kind of like the in-between.
Mm-hmm. And it is typically associated with eternal youth, magic, and vast prosperity. And so seafarers, the term Ryujin recalls and symbolizes the mystery and marvel of the sea. A reminder that beneath the blue waters, there is always some sort of enigmatic seascape. That's a good, But mostly he is worshipped in seaside villages, which is but if you didn't know, Japan is coastal. A lot of it is stretched out island, which also means not hurricanes. Am I thinking of the right thing? No, typhoons.
Tsunamis?
Tsunamis, typhoons, and earthquakes. But usually people go, and before they go into fishing trips and whatever, they go and say a prayer for Ryujin. Are you familiar with like the typical like Japanese shrines?
Somewhat, yeah.
Where it's you ring the bell, you clap twice, and you say your prayer.
Yeah.
But usually, they're given they offer him fish, which is a bit weird. He's
I offer you 5 fish, so you give me 10 fish.
and sake, which is a type of rice wine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But oh yeah, and then there's. Ooh, I would actually love to go to one of these. There's some communities that celebrate certain festivals by holding parades, which have very nicely decorated boats and are sent into the sea, kind of like it's like the lantern situation. You know how like people put like lanterns and up in the
Hmm.
sky and whatever. It's like that, but with boats.
Like they send out like boats to sea.
Yeah, that is a lot more.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now that I think about it, that doesn't sound very ethical.
I mean, it depends what the boats are made out of.
Probably just like I'm hoping just paper
Yeah,
boats.
like disintegratable paper boats that like sink in like 5 minutes.
I would hope so. Right, the symbolism here. I will just fully read off of this part here. The symbolism of Ryujin exists in terms of the striking contrast between the ocean itself. He embodies both the fruitful fertility of the sea, life, peace, and abundance, and its fickle cruelty, bringing destructive storms and fatal currents. This duality is beautiful, depicted in ancient Japanese art. Therefore, wait, yeah, the Yukio Prince, commonly shown in Yushi's emerging tranquil, dreamy waters, and I was actually gonna make like a PowerPoint presentation, but I was like, this is a podcast. It's mostly gonna be audio, whatever. Um, so I didn't prep anything for photos.
That's
I would
fine.
try to I would try to describe it, but I'm not very good at describing things that in a way that would make sense to uh what am I thinking? Neurotypical viewers.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Google how he looks. He's a dragon.
Yeah, he's like
Sometimes he's
a
seen as a serpent.
I've googled some pictures. He's a very very big dragon that's like kind of caresses um the waves, and he's blue and very scaly, fishy looking, and then obviously like dog dragon in the face.
Right here. And I here have a story. I actually have two stories here for Ryujin's.
Story
It's
time.
this is quite long actually. This one is I think I'm gonna butcher this name a bit. Oh no. Yay Theodore Ozaki. He's the author of this book here. Of this depiction of a very famous scripture of Ryujin. It is about a young fisherman who saves a turtle from almost being like bullied by a bunch of children. And
Aww.
in return, after the next day, while he was on his boat fishing, the turtle came and was like, "I'm a messenger of Ryujin. You can come down to Ryujin's palace." And then he goes there, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. And I'm actually gonna send you this. It's a bit long, so I kind of want you to read it.
Yeah, for sure. I love reading shit. Let
Okay,
me
I'll make it a
open.
PDF so it's easier to read.
Okie dokie.
And that is a bit difficult to read,
We're going to
honestly.
have some dramatic storytelling. Oh, by the way, I'm
Yeah.
a voice actor, so this is going to be a fun time.
Oh hell yeah! I would uh this is I just oh my god. Oh my god. No. I can't speak for hello, I can't speak it. This is a podcast, not a um
Non speaketh
that
path
unspeaketh
podcast. I said it's
no
spreading.
speaketh. It's no it's spreading. Okay guys, this is the first episode. It's gonna be scuffed.
Honestly, every episode's gonna be skipped. It's gonna be great.
Oh, like I remember you didn't expect anyone to like write any like scripts or anything,
No.
and I'm like, oh, well, it's typical for me because I'm used to just writing things in general. I love writing.
Okay, it's like a short story that's not
It is
super
a short
short.
story, yes. Not it. It is short story by standard, yes.
All right, let me
Um, a lot of these for the stories I actually had to write myself,
Oh,
which I
did you like
forgot.
transcript it?
I did a bunch of research and I've just amalgamated it together to make it as lore accurate as possible.
That's sick. All right, I will begin the reading of Ryujin, Dragon
This
God
one
of the Sea.
I did not write this one.
Okay. It is by I'm gonna butcher all these names, by the way, so be prepared for that. All right, by Yei Theodora Uzaki. Ozaki. Ozaki? Something like that.
Ozaki.
Okay. Long, long ago, in the province of Tango, there lived on the shore of Japan, in the little fishing village of Mizuno-gi, a young fisherman named Urashima Taro. His father had been a fisherman before him, and his skill had more than doubly descended to his son, for Urashima was the most skillful fisher in all the countryside, and could catch more bonito and tai in one day than his comrades could in a week. But in the little fishing village, more than for being a clever fisher of the sea, he was known for his kind heart. In his whole life he had never hurt anything, either great or small, and when a boy, his companions had always laughed at him, for he would never join with them in teasing animals, but always tried to keep them from his cruel sport. From this cruel sport, sorry. One soft summer twilight, he was going home at the end of a day's fishing when he came upon a group of children. They were all screaming and talking at the tops of their voices, and seemed to be in a state of great excitement about something. And on his going up to them to see what was the matter, he saw that they were tormenting a tortoise.
I found it funny when I was reading over this. It's like, oh, they wrote tortoise, and I was like, I should. When you say the word tortoise, I was like, oh, probably disclaimer: don't tortoises and turtles.
Oh, I see. It's meant to be turtle and not tortoise.
It is no, it's meant to be turtle, yes,
Okay,
in
got you.
this story,
I
but
will
it was written
autocorrect
as
that
tortoise.
in my brain. So they were tormenting a turtle. First one boy pulled it this way, and then another boy pulled it that way, while a third child beat it with a stick, and the fourth hammered its shell with a stone. Oh my god, poor turtle!
Poor guy.
Now Urashima felt very sorry for the poor turtle, and made up his mind to rescue it. He spoke to the boys. "Look here, boys, you're treating that poor turtle so badly that it will soon die." The boys, who were all of an age when children seemed to delight in being cruel to animals, took no notice of Urashima's gentle reproof, but went on teasing it as before. One of the older boys answered, "Who cares whether it lives or dies? We do not. Here, boys, go on, go on!" And they began to treat the poor turtle more cruelly than ever. Urashima waited a moment, turning over in his mind what would be the best way to deal with the boys. He would try to persuade them to give the turtle up to him, so he smiled at them and said, "I am sure you're all good, kind boys. Now won't you give me the turtle? I should like to have it so much." "No, we won't give you the turtle," said one of the boys. "Why should we? We caught it ourselves." "What you say is true," said Urashima, "but I do not ask you to give it to me for nothing. I will give you some money for it. In other words, the Oji-san will buy it off you," and Oji-san means uncle. Won't that do for you, my boys?" My boys!
My boys!
My boys!
What do you have to do, my fellow kids?
He held up the money to them, strung on a piece of string, through a hole in the center of each coin. "Look, boys, you can buy anything you like with this money. You could do much more with this money than you can with that poor turtle. See what good boys you are, and listen to me. Sorry. The boys were not bad boys at all. They were only mischievous, and as Urashima, my brain. And as Urashima spoke, they were won by his kind smile and gentle words, and began to be of his spirit, as they say in Japan. Gradually, they all came up to him, the ringleader of the little band, holding out a turtle to him. Very well, Oji-san. We will give you this turtle if you will give us the money. And Urashima took the turtle and gave the money to the boys, who, calling to each other, scampered away and were soon out of sight. Then Urashima stroked the turtle's back, saying as he did so, "Oh, you poor thing, there, you're safe now. They say that a stork lives for 1,000 years, but the turtle for 10,000 years. You have the longest life of any creature in this world, and you were in great danger of having that precious life cut short by those cruel boys. Luckily, I was passing by and saved you, and so life is still yours. Now I'm going to take you back to your home, the sea, at once. Do not let yourself be caught again, for there might be no one to save you next time."
Don't put tortoises in the ocean.
Don't put tortoises on the ocean, only turtles.
You can tell if they're tortoise or turtle by their feet.
If they look like tree trunks, it's a tortoise. If they look like flippies,
flippers,
it's
they're a turtle.
Jinx. All the while that kind fisherman was speaking, he was walking quickly to the shore and out upon the rocks. Then putting the turtle into the water, he watched the animal disappear and turned homewards himself, for he was tired and the sun had set. The next morning, Urashima went out on his usual boat. The weather was fine, and the sea and sky were both blue and soft in the tender haze of the summer morning. Urashima got into his boat and dreamily pushed out to sea, throwing his line as he did so. He soon passed the other fishing boats and left them behind him till they were lost to sight in the distance, and his boat drifted further and further out upon the blue waters. Somehow, he knew not why, he felt unusually happy that morning. He could not help wishing that, like the turtle he set free the day before, he had thousands of years to live instead of his own short span of human life. He was suddenly startled by his reverie by hearing his own name called, "Urashima! Urashima!" Clear as a bell and soft as the summer wind, the name floated over the sea. He stood up and looked in every direction, thinking that one of the other boats had overtaken him. But gaze as he might over the wide expanse of water, near or far there was no sign of a boat, so the voice could not have come from any human being. Startled and wondering who or what it was that had called him so clearly, he looked in all directions around him, and saw, without his knowing, it a turtle? Knowing it a turtle had come to the side of the boat. Urashima saw him with a surprise. The surprise that it was the very turtle he had rescued the day before. "Well, Mr. Turtle," said Urashima, "was it you who called my name just now?" The turtle nodded its head several times and said, "Yes, it was I. Yesterday, in your honorable shadow, Okage-sama de, my life was saved, and I have come to offer you my thanks and tell you how grateful I am for your kindness to me." "Indeed," said Urashima, "that is very polite of you. Come up into the boat. I would offer you a smoke, but as you are a turtle, doubtless you do not smoke." Trying to get that turtle high. And the fisherman laughed at the joke. I laughed at the joke too. That was hilarious. "He he he he," laughed the tortoise, or a turtle. "Sake, rice wine, is my favorite refreshment, but I do not care for tobacco." "Indeed," said Urashima, "I regret very much that I have no sake on my boat to offer you, but come up and dry your back in the sun. Turtles always love to do that." So the turtle climbed into the boat, the fisherman helping him, and after an exchange of complimentary speeches, the turtle said, "Have you ever seen Ryujin, the palace of the Dragon King of the Sea, Urashima?" The fisherman shook his head and replied, "No. Year after year the sea has been my home, but though I have often heard of the Dragon King's realm under the sea, I have never yet set eyes on that wonderful place. It must be very far away, if it exists at all." "Is that really so? You've never seen the Sea King's palace? Then you have missed seeing one of the most wonderful sights in the whole universe. It is far away at the bottom of the sea, but if I take you there, we shall soon reach the place. If you would like to see the King's land, I will be your guide. I should like to go there certainly, and you were very kind to think of taking me, but you must remember that I am only a poor mortal and have not the power of swimming like a sea creature such as you. Oh, creatures such as you are, sorry. Before the fisherman could say more, the turtle stopped. Oh my gosh! Before the fisherman could say more, I'm getting mixed up. The turtle stopped him, saying, "What? You need not swim yourself. If you will ride on my back, I will take you without any trouble on your part." "But," said Hiroshima, "how is it possible for me to ride on your small back?" "It may seem absurd to you, but I assure you that you can do so. Try it once. Just come and get on my back and see if it is possible, if it is as impossible as you think." As the turtle finished speaking, Urashima looked at its shell, and strange to say, he saw that the creature had suddenly grown so big that a man could easily sit on its back. "This is strange indeed," said Urashima. Yeah, what was in his cigarette, you know?
Bring a little bit of something.
Yeah. "Mr. Turtle, with your kind permission, I will get on your back, Dokuisho," he exclaimed as he...
It's it's like an expression for like easy there, or like
oh, okay.
Or like I'm pretty sure I'm just guessing. I'm remembering off of memory, but
this I don't know how this story ends, but a lot of this reminds me of a lot of stories of the Fae. Specifically the story that was, I don't know if it's specifically the one that influenced Snow White, but it was a story like that where a girl met a group of gnomes or dwarves, and they wanted her to, I think, give birth to like their king's child or something like that. She indulged in their food, and they helped them with their home and motherly things. And then when the duty was done, she came out of their home and left the dwarves. And she saw a man on the fields, and everything looked a little bit different. She asked the man, like the date, or she asked like where her family was or something, and the old man was like, "Oh, that family was around 150 years ago." And then upon hearing this knowledge, she instantly turned into ash and died. So it reminds me of one of those things where like the fairies draw you into their realm, and then you think that you're not dead, but then when you come back from it, you just...
Did you read
you're
further
dead.
into the story?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm guessing by that response it's very similar to a lot of stories of the Fae.
Let's continue.
Okay. I tend to do that with, even if when I'm watching shows, I'm like, "Oh, this reminds me of this," and then this happens, and then the person who's showing me it is like, "Did you already watch this?" I'm like, "No."
Yes, because a lot of things are inspired by X things. A lot of things, especially if you indulge in a lot of media, tend to have similar patterns.
Yeah. And I'm definitely one to recognize those kinds of patterns, because I love stories of folklore and stuff, which is why I was super excited to do this with you. But anyway, yeah, I'll continue reading the story. So anyway, resuming the story, Urashima just hopped on this turtle's back, and now he's gonna die. Anyway.
And the turtle got big, like really big.
Yeah. The tortoise, with an unmoved face, as if this strange proceeding were quite an ordinary event, said, "Now we will set out at our leisure." And with these words, he leapt into the sea with Urashima on his back. Down through the water the turtle dived. For a long time, these two strange companions rode through the sea. Urashima never grew tired, not his clothes moist with the water. At least
Okay, that explains it.
Yeah, at
That
least...
explains why his eardrums didn't explode.
Yeah. At least far away in the distance, a magnificent gate appeared, and behind the gate, the long, sloping roofs of a palace on the horizon. "Yeah!" exclaimed Urashima. "That looks like the gate of some large palace disappearing. Mr. Turtle, can you tell me what that palace is? Or what that place is we can now see?" "This is the great gate of the Ryujin Palace. The large roof that you see behind the gate is the Sea King's palace itself." "Then we have at least come to the realm of the Sea King and to his palace," said Urashima. "Yes, indeed," answered the turtle. "And don't you think we have come very quickly?" And while he was speaking, the turtle reached to the side of the gate. "And here we are, and you must please walk from here." The tortoise now went in front and speaking to the gatekeeper said, "This is Urashima Taro, from the country of Japan. I have had the honor of bringing him as a visitor to this kingdom. Please show him the way."
The first red flag here is the turtle said the country of Japan. That is like...
Is Japan not a country?
No. It's because it's implying that they aren't in Japan.
Oh, like they're in another world.
It's in the like mind of Urashima. If I heard that sentence, oh yeah, he's from the country of Japan. I'm like,
bro, if a turtle came up and talked to me, I'd be like, "This is a trap. I'm leaving."
If a turtle came up and talked to me, yeah, that would be my response.
Yep. It's a trap. Then the gatekeeper, who was a fish, at once led the way through the gate before them. The red bream, the flounder, the sole, the cuttlefish, and the chief vassals of the Dragon King of the Sea now came out with courtly bows to welcome the stranger. Okay, can you tell me how a fish bows?
Sideways.
It just does a barrel roll.
You can't, because fish, like, their necks, they can't extend forward, if that makes, if you were to put a
they
fish
don't have
upright,
a vertebrae like that.
They don't have a vertebrae like that. Yeah, they could move their head sideways a tiny bit. Just tilt it to the side, but at a certain point, you're just gonna break its neck.
Yeah. Urashima-sama, welcome to the Sea Palace, the home of the Dragon King of the Sea. Thrice welcome are you, having come from such a distant country. And you, Mr. Turtle, we are greatly in debt to you for all your trouble in bringing Urashima here. Oh, he has a price to pay. Then turning again to Urashima, they said, "Please follow us this way." And from here, the whole band of fishes became his guides. Urashima, being only a poor fisher lad, did not know how to behave in the palace. But strange though it was all to him, he did not feel ashamed or embarrassed, but followed his kind guides quite calmly where they had led to the inner palace. When he reached the portals, a beautiful princess with her attendant maidens came to welcome him. She was more beautiful than any human being, and was robed in flowing garments of red and soft green, like the underside of a wave. And golden threads glimmered through the folds of her gown. Her lovely black hair streamed over her shoulders in the fashion of a king's daughter many hundreds of years ago, and when she spoke, her voice sounded like music over the water. Urashima was lost in wonder while he looked upon her, and he could not speak. "You poor unfortunate soul." Pain. Indeed. Sorry.
You're all.
That's what that reminded
My
me
mom's
of.
favorite Disney movie is The Little Mermaid.
Oh, I
Fun
love
fact.
that.
I.
Then he remembered that he ought to bow, but before he could make a low ab- ab- obeisance, I've never seen that word before. The princess took him by the hand and led him to a beautiful hall, and to the seat of honor at the upper end, and bade him be seated. Urashima Teiro. Frick. His last name catches me off guard because I keep wanting to say Taro. uh, it gives me the highest pleasure to welcome you into my father's kingdom, said the princess. Yesterday you set free a turtle, and I have sent for you to thank you for saving my life, for I was that turtle. Now, if you like, you shall live here forever, in the land of eternal youth, where summer never dies, and where sorrow never comes, and I will be your bride, and if you will, and we and we will live together happily forever afterwards. And as Urashima listened to her sweet words and gazed upon her lovely face, his heart was filled with a great wonder and joy. That's a fucking siren!
Well, she's the daughter of a dragon, which means wait. So you know how most dragons have human forms?
Yeah.
Most. Some.
Mm-hmm.
That would imply that she is a dragon form as well, if she's able to be human. Because dragons have like shape-shifting capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
They could be literally anything. I don't know if there even is limits to it, but there's a lot of depictions
Yeah,
of
who knows,
them just being
honestly.
able to just do whatever the hell. Who knows? Maybe your neighbor's a dragon.
That'd be epic.
Let's hope he's not a red one.
Yeah, they're spicy.
Yeah, they're spicy.
And as Urashima listened to her sweet words and gazed upon her lovely face, his heart was filled with a great wonder and joy. And he answered her, wondering if it was not all a dream. No, Urashima, it's a trap. You're dead. It's a trap. Thank you 1,000 times for your kind speech. There is nothing I could wish for more than to be permitted to stay here with you in this beautiful land of which I have often heard, but never seen to this day. Beyond all words, this is the most wonderful place I've ever seen. Okay, sorry, side note. I wonder how he heard of the palace if people don't actually survive the palace. At least in terms of, typically when stories of being whisked away into another world.
Maybe that's why they haven't heard about the whisked away into another world thing. They just heard about the palace.
Maybe someone dreamt it
like,
and was like, oh my god. Palace.
Oh, does this exist? I don't. They can go to the local library, look through the scrolls.
Yeah, is there pictures?
The equivalent of Googling.
While he was speaking, a train of fishes appeared, all dressed in ceremonial trailing garments. One by one, silently and with stately steps, they entered. Steps? They have feet? Okay. I'm imagining.
Maybe they have like humanoid forms or something.
Yeah.
Like
I'm imagining like Darwin from the Amazing World of Gumball.
I'm just imagining like just fish just helplessly hopping on like their tail fins.
I feel like that was something. It's either in the Little Mermaid or some other Disney film where like the fish like walked with their fins like that.
I think that is, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I saw. Wait. There was like this one scene where it had like a bunch of fish with like feathered boas and stuff. They were like dancing.
I think that was the Lion King ?
The Lion King?
Yeah, like when Simba's like, I just can't wait to be king. And like all like the ostriches and the elephants are all going crazy.
Let's see.
I'm on about page 6, by the way.
I forgot how many pages there were.
22.
That's for the stories. Okay, the rest of them I'll read them. They're a lot shorter. The reason I wanted you to read this is because you're the host and it's the largest one.
Oh, okay. Cool. I appreciate that too. That's fun. Um anyway, the walking fish. Um while he was speaking, a train of fish appeared, all dressed in ceremonial trailing garments. One by one, silently and with stately steps, they entered the hall, bearing on coral trays delicacies of fish and seaweed such as no one can dream of. And this wondrous feast was set before the bride and the bridegroom. The bridal was celebrated with dazzling splendor. In the Sea King's realm there was great rejoicing. As soon as the young pair had pledged themselves in the wedding cup of wine, 3 times 3 music was played, and songs were sung, and fishes with silver scales and golden tails stepped in from the waves and danced. Urashima enjoyed himself with all his heart. Never in his whole life had he sat down to such a marvelous feast. When the
Maybe
feast
the area is waterlogged. And maybe he's just able to walk around it without having to. Earlier, he was like, it was mentioning how his like clothes were not wet and whatever. So maybe he's just grounded to the ocean, because you would think the palace of an ocean god
Mhm.
would be not would be submerged and have water and not be filled with air.
Yeah, that is strange. Also, we have to excuse it for the fact that it's a magical plane. Nothing is is logical.
Well, yeah, I guess.
um
And it's an old tale, and this is just
mhm.
I don't know when this was revised, when this was written, but I can definitely tell there's some translation errors. It's
Mhm.
definitely been translated from Japanese to English.
Yeah. Um like all of these themes about like them eating the food, like they say if you eat food while you're in the fairy realm, you're stuck there forever. And
Oh.
so when I read that, I was like, "Oh, bro,
Uh-oh.
he's just he's dead." Um, um, when the feast was over, the princess asked the bridegroom if he would like to walk through the palace and see all there was to be seen. Then the happy fisherman followed his bride, the Sea King's daughter, was shown all the wonders of the enchanted land where youth and joy go hand in hand, and neither time nor age can touch them. The palace was built of coral and adorned with pearls, and the beauties and wonders of the place were so great that the tongue fails to describe them. But to Urashima, more wonderful than the palace was the garden that surrounded it. Here was to be seen at one time the scenery of the 4 different seasons. The beauties of summer and winter, spring and autumn were displayed to the wondering visitor at once. First, when he looked to the east, the plum and cherry trees were seen in full bloom. The nightingales sang in the pink avenues, and butterflies flitted from flower to flower. What do the sea folk know about earthly seasons?
Well, that is probably just a projection. My theory is that that's like a projection that is directly being shown from like the actual world.
Hmm.
And since I guess, well, it's the princess was outside of the water,
Hmm.
weather and whatever.
Hmm.
Well, he's also Ryujin is also known as known to control like weather and whatever.
Oh,
And
okay.
weather is usually associated with season. Seasons usually have different weather patterns.
I see. I get you. That makes sense. Um, Looking to the south, all the trees were green in the fullness of summer, and the day cicada and the night cricket chirped loudly, or chirruped, rather. Looking.
Wait, then it isn't waterlogged.
Yeah. Uh, Looking to the west, the autumn maples were ablaze like a sunset sky, and the chrysanthemums were in perfection. I know it's the word chrysanthemum because it starts with the CHR, and then my brain just gibberishes it. I'm like, oh, that's chrysanthemum. uh, Looking to the north, the change made Hiroshima start. For the ground was silver white with snow, and trees and bamboos were also covered with snow, and the pond was thick with ice. And each day there were new joys and new wonders for Urashima, and so great was his happiness that he forgot everything, even the home he had left behind, and his parents and his own country, and 3 days passed without his even thinking of all he had left behind. Then his mind came back to him, and he remembered who he was, and that he did not belong to this wonderful land or the Sea King's palace, and he said to himself, "Oh dear, I must not stay here, for I have an old father and mother at home. What can have happened to them all this time? How anxious they must have been these days when I did not return as usual. I must go back at once without letting one more day pass." You already fucked up, bud.
Yeah, he's been there for less than a day, supposedly.
It said
And
he'd
he's
been
like,
there for 3
"Ooh."
days.
Oh, 3 days. I know I'm the one that wrote this. I'm the one that read and put this here on the script, on the page.
I feel
I'm
that.
forgetting details. But yeah, you've known this person for 3 days, technically. Well, 3.5, I
Something
guess.
like that.
You marry them over those course of days?
Mm-hmm.
No, that is unreasonable. Don't do that. Nobody should do that. No.
As if that wasn't the first red flag.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other things that are just, but yeah, it's a story. But I like seeing I like seeing like the logic in it,
Yeah,
in the
being
source.
comedic in it, just like
Mm-hmm.
this is obviously not real, and sir, you are probably dead. um he began to prepare for the journey in great haste. Then he went to his beautiful wife, the princess, and bowing low before her, he said, "Indeed, I have been very happy with you for a long time." A long time!
A long
3
time.
days! I've been very happy with you for a long time, Otohime-sama, for that was her name. And you have been kinder to me than any words can tell. But now I must say goodbye. I must go back to my old parents. Then Otohime-sama began to weep, and said softly and sadly, "It is not well with you here, Urashima, that you wish to leave me so soon. Where is the haste? Stay with me yet another day only." But Urashima had remembered his old parents in Japan, and the duty to parents is stronger than everything else, stronger even than pleasure or love, and he would not be persuaded, but answered, "Indeed I must go. Do not think that I wish to leave you. It is not that. I must go and see my old parents. Let me go for one day, and I will come back to you." "Then," said the princess sorrowfully, "there is nothing to be done. I will send you back today to your father and mother, and instead of trying to keep you with me one more day, I shall give you this as a token of our love. Please take it back with you." Thanks for the follow, Carp.
No problem.
She brought him a beautiful lacquer box, tied about with a silken cord and tassels of red silk. Urashima had received so much from the princess already that he felt some compunction in taking the gift, and said, "It
I
does
think
not."
it's compulsion.
It says compunction, but I'm
Okay, compunction. Sure.
compunction. I don't know if that's a word, but we'll pretend it is.
Let's check Google. Continue.
Okay. "It does not seem right for me to take yet another gift from you after all the many favors I've received at your hands, but because it is your wish, I will do so." And then he added, "Tell me, what is this box?" "That," answered the princess, "is the tamate bako, box of the jewel hand, and it contains something very precious. You must not open this box, whatever happens. If you open it, something dreadful will happen to you. Now promise me that you will never open this box. That sounds like the tale of the monkey hand.
I've never heard of it.
Basically, it's a cursed severed hand of a monkey, and then if you you grab it, your hand will turn into the monkey hand, and then you'll turn into a demon or something like that.
I think I'd take that over turning into a monkey.
Yeah. Just no thanks. I'd rather just die. And Urashima promised that he would never, never open the box, whatever happened. Then, bidding goodbye to Otahime-sama, he went down to the seashore, the princess and her attendants following him, and there he found a large turtle waiting for him. He quickly mounted the creature's back and was carried away over the shining sea to the east. He looked back to wave his hand to Otahime-sama, till at last he could see her no more, and the land of the Sea King and the roofs of the wonderful palace were lost in the far, far distance. Then, with his face turned eagerly toward his own land, he looked for the rising of the blue hills on the horizon before him. At last the turtle carried him into the bay he knew so well, and to the shore before whence he had set out. He stepped onto the shore and looked about him, while the turtle rode away back to the Sea King's realm. But what is the strange fear that seizes Urashima as he stands and looks about him? Why does he gaze so fixedly at the people that pass him by, and why do they in turn stand and look at him? The shore is the same and the hills are the same, but the people that he sees walking past him have very different faces to those he had known so well before.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Wondering what it can mean, he walks quickly towards his old home. Even that looks different, but a house stands on the spot. He calls out, "Father, I have just returned!" Sorry. And he was about to enter when he saw the strange man coming out. "Perhaps my parents have moved while I have been away, and have gone somewhere else." While the fisherman's thought, somehow he began to feel strangely anxious. He could not tell why. "Excuse me," said he to the man who was staring at him, "but till within the last few days I had lived in this house. My name is Urashima Taro. Where have my parents gone, whom I left here?" A very bewildered expression came over the face of the man, and still gazing intently on Urashima's face, he said, "What? You're Urashima Taro?" "Yes," said the fisherman, "I am Urashima Taro." "Ha ha!" laughed the man. You must not make such jokes. It is true that once upon a time a man called Urashima Taro did live in this village, but that is a story 300 years old. He could not possibly be alive now. Oh! Uh-oh! He's been whisked away!
Never seen that coming.
No, not at all. Totally not at all like the fairy story I told.
Well, at least he wasn't trapped.
Yeah. When Urashima heard these strange words, he was frightened and said, Please, you must not joke with me. I'm greatly perplexed. I'm really Urashima Taro, and I certainly have not lived 300 years. Till 4 or 5 days ago, I lived in this spot. Tell me what I want to know without more joking, please." But the man's face grew more and more grave as he answered, "You may or may not be Urashima Taro. I don't know, but the Urashima Taro of whom I have heard is a man who lived 300 years ago. Perhaps you are his spirit come to revisit your old home, question mark?" There's foreshadowing, there's what Alyssa did. 5 shadowed. That's so true.
At this point, it is 9 shadowed.
9 shadowed. Nine-tailed fox shadowed. Why do you mock me? Said Urashima. I am no spirit. I am a living man. Do you not see my feet? And Don he stamped on the ground, first with one foot and then with the other, to show the man. Japanese ghosts have no feet, in brackets.
Oh, I did not know that, actually.
But Urashima Taro lived 300 years ago. That's all I know, and it is written in the village chronicles. Persisted the man, who could not believe what the fisherman said. Urashima was lost in bewilderment and trouble. He stood looking all around him, terribly puzzled, and indeed, something in the appearance of everything was different to what he had remembered before he went away, and the awful feeling came over him that what the man said was perhaps true. He seemed to be in a strange dream. The few days he had spent in the Sea King's palace beyond the sea had not been days at all. They had been hundreds of years, and at that time his parents had died, and all the people he had ever known in the village had written down his story. There was no use in staying here any longer. He must go back to his beautiful wife beyond the sea. He goes in the sea and he freaking dies. Okay. He made his way back to the beach, carrying in his hand the box with which the princess had given him. But which was the way? He could not find it alone. Suddenly he remembered the box. The Tiamat Bako had have crashed out. Yeah, no kidding. You go back to your home and you're like, just kidding, dude. You're actually dead and 300 years have passed. The princess told me when she gave me the box to never open it, that it contained a very precious thing. But now that I have no home, now that I have lost everything that was dear to me here, and my heart grows thin with sadness at such a time, if I open the box, surely I shall find something that will help me, something that will show me the way back to my beautiful princess over the sea. There is nothing else for me to do now. Yes, I will open the box and look in it. I'm sorry, but Urashima, bro, you've got a few cogs
She told
loose.
you not to open it. Wait. She said earlier as well that after you're done that comeback, not open the fucking box. Don't open it.
If you open the box, the world will explode. And so his heart consented to this act of disobedience, and he tried to persuade himself that he was doing the right thing and breaking his promise. Oh my god.
You fool.
You grave fool. Slowly, very slowly, he untied the red silk cord. Slowly and wonderingly, he lifted the lid of the precious box. And what did he find? Strange to say, only a beautiful little purple cloud rose out of the box in 3 soft wisps. For an instant, it covered his face and wavered over him as if loath to go. Loath to go? I don't know what that means. Oh, okay. Sorry, my brain just figured it out. Okay. And then it floated away like a vapor over the sea. Urashima, who had been till that moment like a strong and handsome youth of 24, suddenly became very, very old. His back doubled up with age, his hair turned snowy white, and his face wrinkled, and he fell down dead on the beach. Bro! Poor Oh, go ahead.
In the original text, he actually crumbled and turned into dust.
Yeah, just like that lady in the fairy story.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was like, did you read?
I did not.
And I'm like, oh wait, it doesn't even say that in here. And I'm like, huh.
Poor Urashima. Because of his disobedience, he could never return to the Sea King's realm or the lovely princess beyond the sea. Little children, never be disobedient to those who are wiser than you, for disobedience was the beginning of all of the miseries, sorrows of life. Oh my god, this was literally this.
This
This
is
is what you
another
meant by,
the
it being
kid
a
try.
warning.
There's more. There's more. As in
Tale number
more than
2.
one of these. Yes, I wrote this one here. This is another one that I thought was funny. I read this one here.
Do you want me to read the TLDR? Mama?
Just in case people were drifting off there.
It's
a pretty short one.
If you were not present or spaced out during the telling of the tale of Urashima, this is the rundown. All right. A kind fisherman, Urashima Taro, saves a mistreated tortoise, or turtle rather, and is rewarded with a journey to the magical underwater realm of the Dragon King. There, he experiences eternal youth and a wondrous life with a princess, but when he returns to his homeland, he finds centuries have passed. Unable to reverse time after opening a forbidden box, he ages rapidly and dies!
Blech.
Morals, kindness, and compassion can open doors to magical experiences. Respect for wise advice and keeping promises is vital. Neglecting duty or disobeying important instructions can lead to irreversible loss. Like dying.
Like dying, yeah.
Bad.
Now this one here, this is probably my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
I rewrote this myself here. The stories themselves of this are very vague, and this is more just of a it was written as a gag of sorts. It's not actually like as in the story, it's written, but it's not technically canon, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, it'll be fun if we wrote about this.
It's like
blah,
a
blah,
copy
blah.
pasta.
So, yeah, but in the then days.
Yeah.
The then days.
It's like a fan story. Alright.
Eons ago, long before humans went onto the surface near the magnificent scintillating waves of the deep ocean, beneath this wonderful palace of Ringin, lived Ryujin, the sea god of the dragon. Sea king of the dragon. Sea god of the dragons. Okay. Already stumbling. All sea creatures looked up to him for his wisdom and power, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we already know that. Okay, but even one great ones have their downfalls. As one fine day, a horrible and incurable rash befell upon Ryujin. In appeal to his suffering, the Dragon King called his foremost learned physicians to summon. They solemnly declared that only one remedy could cure him: the liver of a monkey. Another monkey thing. So you're talking about the hand of a monkey? And then we've got the liver of a monkey here.
Monkeys are dangerous.
Monkeys are dangerous. From the distant shores above the waves. Pondering this, Ryujin had genized and called one jellyfish into the throne room. Jellyfish, I command you, embark upon a journey to the realm above and fetch for me a monkey.
Preferably a not cursed one.
Yeah, probably not a cursed one, yeah. Ryujin intoned. His voice weighed with both discomfort and divine urgency. Without the sacred liver of the creature, I fear my strength shall wane, and I may never mend. I think you can live with a rash. I'm sure you're fine, buddy.
Yeah, a little eczema.
I think it's seen as the rash that he has is seen as like an incurable rash, like maybe it is whatever, but the jellyfish, honored beyond measure by the celestial charge, replied with eager zeal. Great Dragon King, I shall not falter. I will traverse the boundless steep and distant shores to secure the remedy you so desperately seek. Thus, with resolve in every drip, the jellyfish ascended from the fathom of, drifting towards the far-off lands. Jellyfish have no brains, fun fact. There, amid the verdant canopy, where the sunlight danced on playful leaves, it found a little monkey, merrily frolicking amongst the branches. In a tone as smooth as the surface of tranquil tide, the jellyfish addressed the monkey. Oh, esteemed monkey, have you ever beheld the wondrous palace of Ryujin beneath the sea? He has heard tales of your clever wit and renowned wisdom, and thus has sent me to summon you as an honored guest of his realm. Amazed by such flattery and stirred by curiosity, the monkey replied with a bright smile, "How enchanting it sounds! A palace beneath the waves? Truly, I shall journey to see this marvel of deep." And so the monkey clambered onto the gentle back of the jellyfish. As long as you're not touching the stingers, you're fine. Well, there are some jellyfish that aren't, like moon jellyfish. And together they set forth towards the mysterious underwater kingdom. Yet, as they glided amidst the swirling currents, the jellyfish, overcome with exuberance, proclaimed, "Oh, how fortunate you are, dear monkey, for your liver shall be the beacon that restores our greatest dragon king's health." At that, the monkey halted. His eyes twinkled with mischief, and coolly resorted, "Ah, my friend, had you whispered such words before we embarked, you would have known that monkeys are wont to leave their livers behind upon the land. That is a lie. Alas, I fear mine rests in a jar, perched upon a branch of the tree we just left behind." Realizing the weight of his blunder, the jellyfish cried out in urgent regret, "I see. Now our path must reverse. We must return with haste to retrieve what is lost." Thus, with swift resolve, the jellyfish turned and surged back towards the familiar shore. Upon landing, the crafty monkey leaped towards the high treetops, his laughter echoing like a joyful wind. "Oh, silly jellyfish! Do you truly believe one might forego a vital part of oneself? Tell your master that no cure can be found here, for the remedy lies not in what is forgotten, but in the wisdom of what remains." The jellyfish, now burdened with heavy sorrow and embarrassment by his error, had no choice but to return to Ryujin's grand palace and report the mishap. When the Dragon King learned of the jellyfish's folly and failure, his anger was swift and unforgiving. He condemned the folly of the foolhardy messenger, whom the court later mockingly named Decapoda, to harsh punishment. With divine fury, Ryujin beat Decapoda until nothing but a fine powder remained of his bones, a grim reminder of the cost of carelessness of the realm of gods. The underwater kingdom was silent for the time as the tale of Decapoda's downfall spread amongst strangers. It became a cautionary story, told in hushed tones and ritual gowns, as a reminder that even the simplest mistake or lapse in judgment could upset the delicate balance of the cosmos. Yet, amidst the stern lesson, Ryujin's own plight continued, suffering from the horrible, incurable rash that had befallen. The Dragon King pressed on his quest for a remedy. Though Decapoda's fate was harsh lessons in the importance of diligence and truthfulness, the underwater court also recognized that even great beings must sometimes learn. In time, Ryujin convented his learned physics once more, this time ensuring that every detail was double-checked and verified. And years later, the story of Decapoda became woven in the lore of the deep, set on the moonlight nights when the sea is calm yet mysterious. A ghostly, boneless jellyfish drifts silently near Ryujin's palace, a spectral reminder of what can happen when one sleeps without a care. And yes, and that is why jellyfish don't have bones.
I love that. That's hilarious.
So yeah, as a TLDR, Seeking Ryujin, he falls ill from a rash, and he gets a jellyfish, but what would a jellyfish with bones even look like? I guess its movements would kind of be similar, but it would be a lot less buoyant.
Mm-hmm. A bit more stiff looking.
Yeah. Get a monkey's liver, but the monkey deceives the jellyfish and it's like, "Oh, I actually put my liver in a jar." And then the jellyfish is like, "Oh, I'm gonna get beat." And he gets beat.
I've got a jar of liver.
But yeah, that shows it shows the origins of why jellyfish don't have bones, why they are boneless, and that of how divine beings can be at mercy of folly of others. Miscommunication or hastiness can lead to some quite harsh consequences, and humility and carefulness are virtues to be cherished.
That's hilarious.
Now here we have yet another sea god of sorts, who comes from the Philippines, which I wrote down here which region of the Philippines, because a lot of things are in Filipino culture. They are not all like globally, like locally, universally, not universally. Oh my god, what is the word I'm talking about? There are different stories throughout the different regions of the Philippines that not everybody knows about. Not everybody knows about. This here's West Visayan. This is from West Visayan mythology, which I could not figure out where that was because I'm terrible at geography.
Same.
That is nowhere near where like my family grew up from, I'm pretty sure. Which is, I'm not gonna disclose where they live. Duh. But
Yeah,
yeah.
don't dox your fellow kois.
They're dragons.
Or carps.
Well,
aren't kois actually carps?
kois are a type of carps are a type of koi.
Oh.
But okay, I'm spacing out again. But yes, my family members, they are dragons, and I am the one fish. But yeah, this here story is about, not a story, but this figure that I speak of here, it is known as the Bakunawa, which I've found this existence to be quite amusing, as it basically exists to create eclipses, like solar eclipses, or eclipses in general.
That's neato.
And basically, it was just like one it's just a serpent, and I was like, ooh, the moon are pretty. There used to be, and it mentions in text that there used to be 8 moons, and that how Bakunawa was like, ooh, those are pretty, I want to eat them. So Bakunawa eats them as
same though. Pretty
as
shiny
any
rock.
sane person would see something pretty and shiny. He goes and eats several of the moons, which there are 8. There's like 8 moon cycles. With the like a new moon, waning crescent, waxing crescent, waning gibbous, whatever. So this year in Filipino mythology depicts that there used to be 8 moons before Bakunawa. So I'm just imagining, just like this Star Wars ass type 8 like formation of moons. I don't think that would gravitationally wise. I don't
the
think
ocean would be fucked.
The ocean would be fucked. Yeah, that. Because the tides are like mostly dependent from the gravity, whatever's coming from, like the, what is it, like the magnetic poles or the something, the moon. I'm pretty sure. I'm not a cosmologist. I'm not a moon person. But yeah, then also in other depictions, it's Bakunawa is seen as still a sea serpent, but as he seems to like propose to the moon in a way. But then in like harsh denial and out of spite, he just starts eating the moons.
Is Bakunawa a Taurus? Because I feel like that's very Taurus behavior.
Very Taurus behavior? I wrote this one very...
The Taurus laughs in chat.
Yeah, I just really like how this how Bakunawa just gives the reasoning behind why there is only one moon, different cycles. It's basically just Bakunawa gnawing on the moon and just gradually spinning around the moon for different cycles. And then during like lunar eclipses or like solar eclipses, it's lunar eclipses because he's not eating the sun.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually this tradition that people do in the region of the, I don't know exactly which regions of the Philippines do it. I should have probably asked my mom if she's done this before. But during like an eclipse, what people do is they go outside, they get a bunch of pots and pans, and they like quote unquote try to protect the moon from being eaten by Bakunawa. And they go and they slam like big spoons on the pans. They're like, "Go away, Bakunawa!"
Oh, I love that.
And another thing here I was going to add. And there's also there's a children's game that I remember while I was researching this, my friend was reading all other stuff, and there's this children's game, it has multiple names. I don't remember what the Tagalog name for it is, but it's just known as the Bakunawa, or just like the Bakunawa game, where it's like so there's one person in the back that acts as the moon, another person in like front that acts as Bakunawa, and then there's a ring of like several people that are like trying to protect the moon and try to make sure that that the one that's playing Bakunawa doesn't slip through and get the moon.
That's awesome.
And then the several people, they hold hands and they just, it's like a bunch of goalies playing it.
Yeah, it sounds similar to Red Rover. Have you ever played that?
Mm-mm.
So there's one kid in the back, and then there's like a row of kids, and they're all holding hands. And there's another kid in front of them who's trying to break through the kids to tag the kid behind them. And then they go, Red Rover, we call Jason over. And then he basically just like rams them. It got banned in a lot of schools because a lot of kids had broken wrists because of it.
Right, and another depiction of Bakunawa is that Bakunawa is actually once used to be like a sea goddess, and that was cursed by, I couldn't find the source. I couldn't find any other things. I just saw something about a depiction of something like that, but it didn't really explain what the curse was.
Mm-hmm.
Like the origin of the curse, why she or whatever was cursed. Which, like, pulling that alongside the proposal to the moon. The moon goddess in the Philippines. I forgot what her name is, but it's a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, Bakunawa was a lesbian.
That's lit.
In some sort of universe of sort. I guess in some interpretations, I guess you mix them all together in some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Mayari is the moon goddess of Philippine mythology. She's known as talaga nasa buwan, or Lady of the Moon. Yeah, they're known to her and Bakunawa they have a whole rivalry because he's trying to eat him. Bakunawa's trying to eat her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he causes eclipses. I guess that's mostly it. This one was especially hard to research. It's like kind of vague because it's just like, oh, serpent that eats causes cycle. But I did find some stories though. If we go down here, this one's probably gonna be the shorter end. But oh right, another thing where Bakunawa is the patient is, oh god, here I wrote it here. I guess we'll get to that point when we get to the other story. Alright. This tale here is, I couldn't get the author, but I have the link to where I got the story from. It is from here, from esplanade.com. For I think this a Filipino thing here. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but it is just a website that I found the story off of. Again, I can't find the author. All right, shall we continue?
Yes, we shall.
All right. Once upon a time, in the ancient land in the Philippines, Bathala. Oh yeah, Bathala. The supreme god created 7 moons that lit up the earth. Lit up the earth, not in the earth. The moons illuminated each of the dark nights of the week, and every evening was bright and glowed with beauty because of these moons. This, however, caught the attention of one particular dragon, Bakunawa, a huge serpent-like dragon that coiled around the earth and ruled the oceans. Bakunawa lived deep in the ocean and was surrounded by darkness his whole life. Bakunawa saw the 7 moons sky, and he was amazed. He had simply never seen such beautiful things before. He was mesmerized by the moon's radiant light and wanted to have them all. Ever heard of a light bulb? The towering and ferocious Bakunawa yearned to possess all the moons. So one night, he sprung from the pitch-black oceans and bolted towards the sky. He opened his mouth as wide as he could around one of the moons with one powerful swallowed it whole. As he did so, a huge wave of earthquakes shook the ancient land of the Philippines. Bakunawa returned to his dwelling, satisfied that he had devoured a moon. Unfortunately, he soon realized the moon inside him melting away like candle wax. Bakunawa was furious. He wanted to take a moon that would last, and so the next night, Bakunawa leapt towards the sky, and one more, he swallowed another moon. But this too melted away. Bakunawa was infuriated and let out a loud, "Well, there are many more moons in the sky. I will eat them all if I have to," he huffed. I'm just thinking logically. Either he has really corrosive stomach acid, or the moons are made of cheese.
I like the cheese theory. Also, it's like Gru. I stole the moon.
Night after night, he took a moon from the sky, and each time it melted away inside him. Soon, Bakunawa had devoured all but one. The ancient Filipinos who suffered from the earthquakes that Bakunawa caused when he ate each moon knew they had to do something or their world would be destroyed. Finally, they thought of an idea. They had heard that Bakunawa was afraid of loud noises, so they gathered some pots and pans and waited for the Bakunawa to appear again. One fateful night, Bakunawa sprung out in the ocean once more, and with a terrifying screech, sped towards the last moon, and locked its jaws around it. As Bakunawa's teeth grabbed hold on the 7th moon, the earth began to be engulfed in a deep and terrifying darkness. But the ancient Filipinos ran to the ocean while banging their pots and pans and shouting together, "Return our moon!" Bakunawa was so startled by the loud sudden noises that it spat out the 7th moon just as it was about to swallow it whole. Side note, Filipinos are really loud. I don't know. I think I'm like borderline deaf because of how loud my family is. The dragon, frightened by the loud screams and noise coming from the people on land, hastily returned to his caverns in the ocean, while the deafening sounds grew louder and louder. The last moon now returned to the skies. Not skis! No, we're in a mountain scene, totally. There's illuminated the dark skies once more, and the ancient Filipinos celebrated as the dragon hid inside his caves, waiting for another chance to gobble up the last remaining moon. Little did Bakunawa know, Vakara had seen what he had been doing this to his moons. To prevent him from ever swallowing the last moon and casting the earth in eternal darkness, Vakara planted tall bamboo trees so that Bakunawa would not be able to swallow the moon so easily. These bamboo trees looked like stains or dark spots on the surface of the moon from afar. So it's basically saying that the moon wasn't porous before, and the little like divots are things of bamboo. which,
That's awesome.
Bakunawa never gave up as he would attempt to swallow the last remaining moon in the sky, time to time. But the people guarded the moon with their own lives and remained on, ready to create thundering noises for the moon to return should Bakunawa return. As long as the bamboo trees remain on the moon, the dragon will never succeed in his evil deed. Yeah.
He's like, he can swallow a whole moon, but bamboo? Nah,
Yeah,
that gives him
bamboo, do you know how fast
indigestion.
bamboo grows really, really fast. I'm just imagining now, on the moon, it's just a bunch of bamboo like forests scattered around in different heights, and that's why there's craters on the moon. Then they wouldn't be craters. They would be like, well, no, there technically would be craters. It's just in between the bamboo, I guess. That would look more like
Because you need
lines.
to dig to plant the shoots.
It was created by a, well, it's plants being grown. There's zero logic in that, I guess. A god did it as well, so they technically didn't have to dig out. They could be like, oh, bamboo shoots on the
They
bamboo on the moon.
The sound effect was absolutely needed.
But yes, as a TLDR, Bakunawa is a giant sea dragon who becomes mesmerized by the beauty of the seven moons created by Vakara. And his desire to possess them, he attempts to swallow each moon, but they melt away inside of him. When he nearly swallows the final moon, the ancient Filipinos use loud noise to frighten him away. Vakara plants bamboo on the moon to protect it forever.
These stories are so cute. Like other than the Urashima story, because that was just death.
That was just death, yeah.
These stories are so cute and like fantastical.
And it's seeing them all compiled together, just with I'm forgetting my regions. What region of Asia is Japan again? Let us Google. It's the same one as China and Korea. It is.
Are you talking about the continent?
The regions. It's in East Asia, and Philippines is in Southeast Asia, which is near like Cambodia, Vietnam,
Fish noises.
India. All right, so on to the next one. This one caught my eye because I didn't actually know that. I don't know if I cut out or not.
No.
Okay. Because as I mentioned earlier, I'm very into D&D. This is most likely, if this isn't referenced off, I'm pretty sure this is a direct reference for the dragon god of in D&D with like the the Hydra-ish looking. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think I've seen it.
But yes, Tiamat. I don't know how to pronounce words.
I think it's Tiamat.
But she is known as the primordial sea mother of chaos in the Mesopotamia. I'm reading that as. Could you read this part here? I can't read very well.
Where am I reading?
It's just a hippopotamus.
I think I know what you're trying to say, but Are you talking about Mesopotamia?
Yeah, Mesopotamia. Potassium. You awesome.
I love Jar Jar Binks.
But yeah, that
That's so
there.
awesome.
It
Visa
is
potassium.
Visa potassium. Use. I also really like Star Wars. I'll read directly from here. The whatever potassium mythology?
Mesopotamian.
Mesopotamian mythology. Uncontrolled and disorderly form of salt water. And oh no, there's more things I can't pronounce. Enuma Elish.
Yeah, I
An
can't help
early
you with that one.
creation epic. Tiamat embodies the raw, unformed chaos from which the universe universe emerges form. That doesn't make sense. Why did I write that? Emerges form. Or the universe emerged. There. Her wild behavior and commanding presence embodies the idea of the unfettered wild salt one. Though giving and killing is at the core of the act of creation and the arrival of cosmic. She is both creation and destruction. And the Enuma Elish, the Babalian creation epic. Tiamat's did I baby lion Ian? I don't know. Anyways, Tiamat's turbulence from early waters are raw materials of the universe. From her chaotic depths emerges the ordered cosmos, and her subsequent battles with the storm god Marduk signals the passage from chaos to cosmic order that is inevitable. This dualism is her power to sustain new life and unleash destructive forces. And in ancient Mesopotamia, Cosmo. Oh my god, no! Ugh! I love being dyslexic. The
Same.
Cosmogony. I think she is simultaneously the raw and unbridled power of creation and the force of destruction. Additionally, the majority of the different forms of Tiamat myth indicate that her tears and sorrow are also held to be the start of new life. Her loss and overwhelming feeling represents hope amidst chaos.
Oh, I love that.
And as of today, her myth is the metaphor for renewal and change, and she is the chaotic force of creation. In ancient oh my god, that word again. Hippopotamus.
Mesopotamian.
Mesopotamian cosmogony also signifies the potential for destruction. In modern understandings, duality is seen as a symbol of immense strength in a way that hardship will eventually lead to beauty and resurrection. These tells a Tiamat story to demonstrate how even during the darkest of chaos seems unbreakable. Growth and renewal are possible. A truth that will resonate with today's audience, struggling with personal or social crisis. That hits home. To many people out there, I'm sure.
I love that every time you try to pronounce Mesopotamian, you lose 5 health.
Mesopotamia.
I'm sorry, it's really comedic.
I'm half a heart now.
No more Mesopotamia for you.
I'm silly. There was another Bakunawa.
Yeah, I thought you were just like skipping for time, which I personally don't really care, but yeah.
No, I'm just being silly. I'm being silly. This one is another one here. Do you mind if we go back and forth between this one like every other? Because I spaced it between. You can kind of see.
Yeah.
So I shall go first. Here. Long ago, when the islands were young and the oceans was a realm of mystery and Bakunawa ruled the vast depths, not as a mere adventure of celestial potent force woven into the fabric of nature. His serpentine form, depicted in ancient tales as having scales and an aura of ancient, was both feared for his power and revered as the cosmic order. Many legends accounted his attempt to swallow the moon. Coast communities also believed that his mood could sway the linking him to the very balanced nature.
You're cutting out a lot there.
Fuck. Sorry. Which
Good.
parts did I cut out in? So, I'm not very close to my mic right now. No, I am now. I am now.
It wasn't super significant. You can just keep going.
It was. I'm pretty. It just as a short thing. It's basically he's not. People don't just see him as destruction god. They see him in his ups as well. Yeah. And that's your cue to read.
Oh, what am I reading? Sorry.
See how it's spaced out with like each paragraph and whatever.
Are we going paragraph by paragraph?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. In a coastal village, right? That's where I start?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. In a coastal village nestled between rugged cliffs and lush mangrove forests, the people noticed that the once predictable rhythms of the sea had grown erratic. Violent surges replaced gentle tides, and sudden lulls brought uncertainty to the fishermen who cast their nets at dawn. Crops withered near the shore, and whispers spread that the deep had lost its harmony. The villagers recalled old chants and ancestral lore that spoke of Bakunawa's dual nature, the creature whose favor could bring prosperity or calamity.
One cool evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon in hues of gold and crimson, the village elder, Amihan, whose name itself invoked the gentle north wind, gathered the people in the water's edge. With a steady, hopeful voice, she proclaimed,
Our ancestors did not fear Bakunawa merely as a bringer of eclipses, but honored him as the guardian who maintains the balance of our seas. It is time we rekindle that ancient pact and seek his guidance.
That night, beneath a sky sprinkled with countless stars, a canvas upon which traditional myths had once been told, the villagers performed a sacred ritual. Drums resonated softly as offerings of fresh caught fish, polished shells, and woven garlands were set afloat upon the dark waters. As the rhythmic charms faded, a gentle ripple stirred in the ocean, acknowledged the village's plea.
From the deep emerged Bakunawa, his eyes shimmering with the timeless light of the ocean's depths. His massive form glided gracefully, carrying with him the legends of old, stories passed down through generations that depicted him as both a force of nature and a symbol of renewal. In a voice that rolled like a surging tide, he addressed the gathered people.
Children of the shore, do not tremble. The sea speaks in many voices. At times it weeps, and at times it roars. I sense that the sacred bond between you and the deep has weakened. Let us restore that harmony.
Young Talo, a fisherman known for his courage and devotion, stepped forward, his voice trembling, yet resolute.
Great Bakunawa, our land suffers under great erratic tides and stormy tempests. What must we do to mend our broken bond with the sea?
Bakunawa's majestic coils shimmered as he replied.
The tides are a pulse of nature's heart. When harmony, and humanity forgets its sacred part in the ocean, imbalance reigns. You've taken much from the waters without giving in return. Renew your respect. Care for every living creature beneath the waves. In doing so, the sea shall restore its favor.
In the weeks and months that followed, the villagers embraced the ancient rites with renewed fervor.
Fervor. I wrote this.
They organized communal gatherings at dawn to honor the sea, planting mangroves to stabilize the shores, cleansing the coastline with prayers and offerings, and recounting the lore of Bakunawa as both the feared devourer of celestial light and the benevolent guardian who maintained nature's order.
Oh, as word of their renewed reverence spread, neighboring islands too began to remember the old ways. Philippines has like 100-ish islands. It's a lot.
Oh, wow.
Of living in harmony with the ocean. There's an island within an island with an island and a volcano in it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and living in harmony with the oceans and heeding the wisdom of the guardian. Though traditional lore often recounts Bakunawa's attempts to swallow the moon during eclipses, many coastal folk understand that such cosmic events were reminders of the delicate balance between order and chaos, a balance that could be restored through mutual respect between humanity and nature.
Years passed and the coastal village flourished once again. The legend of Bakunawa evolved into a symbol of guardianship and renewal, a reminder that the great serpent was not solely a force of cosmic disruption, but also a living embodiment of nature's enduring cycle. Under his silent, watchful eyes, life in all its forms, marine and terrestrial, continued to thrive, bound together by a sacred ancient pact.
Yes, in a coastal village, as a TLDR, a coastal village troubled by erratic tides. Bakunawa here is reimagined as the guardian of the deep, responding to a loss of balance between humans and nature. The villagers perform ancient rites and renew their respects for the seas, prompting Bakunawa to restore harmony to the ocean. And to that, as the morals here are the mutual respect in nature and essential cosmic balance, reviving ancestral traditions, heal environment and social disharmony. Even forces once seen as destructive can embody renewal when honored properly. And to me, symbolism of that is how, mostly with kind of how people are treating the planet with the whole temperature changes.
Global warming.
And also, fun fact: the Philippines contributes to almost a good like chunk of like the like trash in oceans
Wow.
and on the streets. It is sad. Yes.
That's really interesting how that story in particular comes from the Philippines and the Philippines is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
As someone who has, I have walked amongst the humans in the Philippines. They're all very nice. Everybody there is really nice.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine so. But also, in order to do recycling and to keep things clean like that,
People
it
burn
it
garbage.
yeah, it is something that does cost money. It's a service.
Mm-hmm.
It requires resources, and so there's a part of me that understands why it's like that. But
It's a
yeah,
third world country.
yeah.
But from when I was there last, it seems to be progressing a lot.
Oh, that's good.
So I went there during winter time for Christmas. My
Hmm.
family, my dad's side of the family, and yeah, it was a lot. Like the airport was like drastically different. Like the streets were like a lot cleaner. There's like, oh look, toilets have bidets now.
Wow, fancy.
Yeah,
Toilets don't even have bidets here, really.
no. Which okay, this is kind of gross, but also kind of educational. But basically in the Philippines, we don't use toilet paper.
Oh, because
It's
I've heard from like other people who live there that like in your bathrooms you have like a kind of like a basin and like a cup.
mm-hmm. It's we got a big basin of water and a little like handheld bucket called it's called a tabo.
Oh,
And what you basically do is you use that to clean yourself up. You dump the water on your parts and yeah.
interesting. I mean, I think that's kind of environmentally friendly
I definitely say
and
so
cost
too, yeah.
effective.
Um but yeah, you'll rarely find any places with like toilet paper or anything. And if you do, it's probably a good like a nice restaurant or something. But even that like
Yeah.
right even like
I
in
was gonna ask like if you're at, like you need to take a shit at a restaurant, is there
yeah,
like
there's gonna be toilet paper. If you're in
uh
a like airports, the airports too have toilet paper. Oh, no, actually, when I was there last time I was there were bidets. Like even in like remote places, there's bidets.
interesting. I didn't know that.
But yeah, that's the bidet thing is a new thing for me in terms of it being just glow. globally. Oh my god. Generally accessible. All right, I'm gonna reintroduce Tiamat again because I forgot about the second story about Bakunawa.
And also
But yes,
between Bakunawa and the Tiamat story, there's also Makara.
oh, that is a oops. That is supposed to be Tiamat. This is another one that I wrote with my sources down here. If you want to the description of the video or something, so you know I'm not bullshitting. Yes, let us continue on yet another story.
Oh yeah, more stories.
In the Silent Age, before earthly mountains rose or rivers flowed, Tiamat, the boundless salt sea, mother of many gods, dwelled in tranquil unity with her partner Apsu. The fresh waters, their gentle currents gave birth to children, primeval deities gifted with vigor and curiosity. Among them were Lamhu and Longmo, the firstborn twins. And in time, I was about to say twinks, and in time, others fell to populate the growing cosmos. As the ages passed, these young deities stirred with ambition. They listened to the pulsating heart of the universe and felt a call beyond the sheltered expanse of Tiamat's waters. One dusk, Tiamat emerged from her vast domain to see her children gathered on shore. They whispered in excitement about forging new realms and shaping the land and sky. A pale glow bathed them, hinting at destinations only they could fulfill. Destinies, not destinations. Oops. Tiamat's voice, deep and resonant, ocean tide, rolled across the still air. My beloved children, what stirs you so? Why do your eyes shine with longing? Lamu, tall and proud, stepped forward. Mother, the horizon beckons us. Wish to explore beyond your embrace, to carve valleys and raise mountains, to make life thrive in new domain. Her gaze swept across each face, and her tone softened, tinged with both pride and sorrow. I have always known you would grow, but go if you must, shape what needs to be shaped. But remember the womb that bore. Wait. Yeah, no, they do. Never mind. I am stupid. I was trying to remember. Do dragons have wombs? Yes, they do. They lay eggs. I don't know if it's called a womb.
The egg womb.
But her children bowed their heads in reverence. Lamu, slender and sharp-witted, placed a gentle hand upon Tiamat's arm. We will carry your memory with us, mother. Wherever rivers run or seas swell, we shall honor the source of our being. One by one, they turned and departed. Their laughter mingled with determination, and soon they slipped beyond Tiamat's sight. The wind carried faint echoes of their voices. Silence reigned. Stranding at the boundaries between shore and sea, Tiamat gazed upon the vast emptiness behind. Though she knew this was the nature of creation, children rising to shape reality, she felt an ache swell up in her. With a trembling sigh, she whispered, "Gently you go, and gently does my love follow. May these wanders guide you ever." As the twilight deepened, a single tear gathered in the corner of her eye. It sparkled in the moon, spanning for a moment like a pearl, then descended into the virgin earth with a soft sound. Where it landed, a shimmering spring burst forth water so pure it glowed faintly under the night sky. The soil drank in the divine tear, yielding a lush garden of vivid flowers and emerald vines. An oasis blessed by the ocean of a primordial mother. Overhead, distant stars flickered in awe, as if bearing witness to the power of Tiamat. The newly sprouted blossoms swayed, their petals reflecting a gentle. Tiamat knelt by the fresh water, her eminence form bending with graceful sorrow. She spoke to the newborn spring as might carry her message across realms. My children shall roam far, seeking the purpose that comes from them. This tear is my farewell, gift of life for. May every droplet hold the memory of mother's devotion. Slowly, Tiamat rose, her sadness tempered by quiet resolve. In that moment, she understood that creation needs no loud or violent. Sometimes life emerged from the of love and longing, while later tales would paint her as fierce and turmoilous. Those who wandered close to the spring shore, another truth. Tiamat's tears were a vessel of hope, a gentle prophet that even in the mother's oceans resided a healing port. Generations passed, and the oasis thrived. Its waters ever refreshing, its greenery ever. Travelers, mortals, and divine alike told whispered stories of the sea shed a single tear that became a cradle of life. They spoke of Tiamat not merely as an untamed force, but also as a grieving mother whose boundless heart found expression in the simplest droplet. And so, the legend lifted on the quiet corners of Mordor. The day Tiamat's sorrow fell upon the garden of the storm. Yeah, this is from the description I gave Tiamat. This is quite a calm story, which and shockingly calm.
You're like, Tiamat will rock your boat, rock your world, and Tiamat is like just like crying basically in the story.
Yeah, it's, I guess, maternal instinct. I guess the right word I'm thinking of here, but yeah. If any of you, your mom's still alive, tell her you love her. Give her a good hug if you can. Send her a message. Yeah. And
Hell yeah. Isn't Mother's Day coming up in 2 months? It's a little early, but still relevant, I think, maybe.
I guess, yeah. But for those whose mothers aren't currently present, I hope they spend a good eternity in the afterlife. As we continue here, yeah, so TLDR, time before mountains and rivers, Tiamat is the primordial sea mother. She watches her children. She doesn't see them just spread their wings. And of course, as a parent does, they're like, no, don't leave. And,
I
and
definitely relate because I'm gonna be moving to another country soon. and my mom's she cried about it.
but yeah. But as for the morals here, it's from sorrow and large. Creative force of caring heart can transform grief into growth. Even the primordial nature are capable of compassion. And my spoon for my yogurt, I'm still eating my yogurt. There's a lot of yogurt. Almost fell on the ground.
Oh no!
Why did I write so much? Oh my god. Almost out of breath. Alright, do you mind reading the second tale?
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. Give me a second. I'm eating a carrot.
Alright.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm kind of used to reading a shit ton out loud because on another stream that I'm a part of, we live voice act visual novels. And so we're all just reading dramatically the entire time.
Yeah, when it's very long, like scriptures as such, I
like
get out of breath very easily. I get out of breath easily. So
just remember to take your time to breathe between sentences. Plus, it adds dramatic effect.
I've breathing in types of in vocal type aspects I have practiced a lot because I've used to sing a lot, so kind of sing a tiny bit. Breathing is a very important aspect. Without breathing, you'll sound and feel a lot less genuine,
and your brain will go night night. Right. Tiamat tale number 2. In an age when the world was still young and the boundaries between gods and mortals were not yet firmly drawn, Tiamat, the primordial sea mother, dwelled in her vast domain of salt waters. By night her waves shimmered beneath the starlight, by day they reflected the newborn sun. Yet it was during dawn stillness, in that fleeting moment when even the breeze seemed to hold its breath, that Tiamat's reflection was said to appear upon the glossy seed. Sea.
Glossy seed. Yeah, a really nice shiny sunflower.
Oh, yeah, I got some sunflower seeds right here. Made me want
I'm
them.
allergic to sunflower seeds.
No! That makes me sad. I will enjoy sunflower seeds for you.
I think it's either that or I just have a sensitivity to it, because I ate it one time for the first time. I was like, I don't really like it. I'm like, oh, my mouth itchy.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh,
uh,
thankfully, there's not a lot of sunflower or anything near me. It's
yeah.
all trees, grass, no flowers.
Yeah, I love trail mix and nut mixes of all kinds. So like sunflower seeds are kind of like the basis of most of them.
I can't eat nuts.
I'll eat nuts and enjoy them for you.
Well, peanuts, which aren't nuts, they're legumes, which is a type of like bean.
Really? I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that. Also, I also recently learned that cashews are the seeds from peppers. A specific kind of pepper. I can't remember what the pepper's called, but yeah.
Yeah, there's cashew fruit.
Yeah. Or fruit or pepper. Something like that. Anyway. Back to the story. Legend held that those who rose before first light and ventured to the water's edge might glimpse her faint silhouette in the gently rippling surface. Many saw only the outline of a grand figure, a hint of scales and swaying hair reminiscent of ocean reeds, but the mystic orders believed that there was more. According to their teachings, anyone who entered a meditative trance at this silent hour would find the dream echoes of Tiamat unfolding in the water's reflection. One such mystic, Nakima, is that how you spell it? Or say it?
Don't ask me on pronunciations.
just,
I just wrote what I saw.
Okay. Nakima was drawn by the tales of Tiamat's dawn visions. Standing on a broad...
Nakima?
Yeah.
Nekima. I don't know.
Standing on a broad flat rock at the coastline, she quieted her...
No way.
Hmm.
No way. Bullshit. Never mind. I was like, I typed in the name, like, how do you pronounce this? And it auto-corrected to Nema. So it removed the Q.
Oh.
And correctly with an I. Maybe it is pronounced Nema. I don't know.
It's possible. Names are weird, man. Standing on a broad flat rock on the coastline, she quieted her mind and gazed into the sea's placid mirror. As the morning light crept over the horizon, the water brightened, capturing a hazy spectral form. At first, Nakima's heart pounded. The vast silhouette seemed too immense to comprehend, yet she recalled the old teachings. Show no fear, the reflection is Tiamat's gentle dream state, revealing truths of existence and self. For a breathless moment, Nakima felt the sea stir under her feet. In the reflection, she saw flickers of long-forgotten memories, a childhood spent on the sun-bleached shores, ancient voices calling her to greater purpose. She sensed, too, the sorrow and longing that Tiamat once carried, an echo of the countless creations birthed from the primordial waters. Tears pricked Nakima's eyes as she realized these insights were a gift from the Sea Mother. What she witnessed were both her reflections and fragments of Tiamat's unspoken dreams. In time, the rising rays dispelled the subtle image, and the sea resumed its usual glow. Nakima felt an indescribable calm settle over her. From that day on, she taught fellow mystics to greet the dawn in stillness, reminding them that the secrets of one's heart and of the world could be found in the fleeting reflection. Whispers of these dawn visions spread throughout the land. Small groups gathered regularly on sheltered shores, eyes closed in reverence, seeking the fragile moment when Tiamat's slumbering mind seemed to beckon them. Among them, it was said, at dawn, Tiamat dreams, and her dreaming, we glimpse our truest selves. That's really cool. Some watchers claimed that if the reflection lingered long enough, they could see entire landscapes blooming within the water's depths, swirling shapes that hinted at lost realms and unborn worlds. Others insisted they heard a distant motherly sigh on the breeze, as though Tiamat recognized their presence. Whether these dawn reflections were truly Tiamat's dream visions or simply the interplay of light upon still water, the practice endured. Generation after generation, those seeking deeper knowledge returned to the shore at sunrise. All believed that in those quiet moments, Tiamat's ancient mind touched their own, offering not only thunderous roars of violent storms, but a serene pathway to understanding the soul's hidden depths. And so the story remained etched in coastal tradition and carried by gentle waves across the ages. When the sea rested at dawn, Tiamat's reflection bloomed upon the surface, and from that silent meeting of sky and water, any who looked with a pure heart might learn something profound, a truth whispered from the sleeping sea mother herself. TLDR, at dawn, Tiamat's reflection appears upon a calm sea, offering a glimpse into her dreamlike state. Mystic Nikima experiences profound revelations and memories through the ethereal image, inspiring her and others to seek inner wisdom and connection with the divine. Morals. Quiet reflection and meditation can reveal deep truths about the self and the universe. The divine can communicate subtle guidance through nature's gentle displays. Embracing inner stillness can unlock profound insights and healing. I super relate to the story personally.
How so?
Through my spirituality, one of the things, well, I guess two in one. Two of the things that was really significant for me in my own personal healing and connecting spiritually was I started based off of meditation and breath work. And, through research
Wow.
of those kinds of things, it kind of opened up the doors to me learning about connecting with the divine and source, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it.
The thing.
The thing that does all the things. And through the guidance that I received, and I received visions, dreams, I could hear certain messages as well. And through those reflections and meditation and my connection to the divine, it helped me recenter myself. Because at the time, I'll try to keep this short. At the time, I was very severely mentally ill. My brain was doing a lot of upsetty things that deemed me worthy of being in a mental hospital for. And then one day I just kind of was like, I don't want to live this way anymore. I want to heal. I want to be happy. And this aspect of my spirituality helped me to be at this place in time where I'm more accepting of myself. I used to be extremely depressed, and I am not anymore. Well, I still have a depressive disorder, but like I'm not like thinking about the sewer slide all the time. And it's been quite a long and tough journey, but yeah, connecting that way and through meditation, and being with myself and asking myself contemplative questions about you know myself, my past, and all that good shit. um it's really helped me to understand myself and to understand what I want to do with the life I have.
Well, that's very interesting. With personally with me, I just enjoy reading the stories. But
It's okay.
it's like it's interesting to see how such things can really reflect or affect someone's life and how they view. This really shows the impact of
Mhm.
stories as such, like this, and strong beliefs and faith,
Mhm.
which pretty cool.
I mean, like, even if you like aren't like spiritually inclined, even if you do practice meditation, it can still help you to like achieve those mental states of introspection and questioning the self and deep thought and things like that.
I would say I'm spiritually open,
Yeah, curious.
if that makes sense. Yeah, curious or open. Yeah, but yeah, we got one more story left.
Woo! We're
One
doing
more
it.
left here. Yeah. So
Makara.
to end this off, we don't have one, but two. I was about to say a quartet. That is not a four. Four. Quartet is four people in a band, right?
Quartet, I think, is four.
Tri, quad, four. Yeah, I think. But
Six
yes,
person band. It's called a sextet. Or a sextet, sorry.
quartet is four then.
Yeah,
I'm
quartet is
guessing.
four, sextet is six. What is five? Quintet. Quintet and sextet, five and six.
They are a pair, a duo here. One being the god itself that does the god shit, and one being the draconic like steed of sorts. Kind of like a chimeric creature mixed with different creatures. That's what a chimera is, or like a homunculus.
Hmm.
Let's here. So this here is from Indian mythology. I don't know what part of India. I didn't write it down either because I know there's like yeah, my bad.
It's so
But
good.
yeah, this here is about Varuna and Makara. Varuna being the god of cosmic matters and guardian of the universal law of Indian mythology, and he plays a role in both nature and society. So it's just showing how there is some like law aspects to keeping the peace and also like nature like coexisting
Hmm.
as together. That makes sense.
Yeah. Also,
And
I wish you luck in pronunciating these names.
I think I can pronounce them. I think it's names for me are easier than like words and verbs.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he is Everyone is retaining the balance of the cosmos. He's linking natural phenomena, ethnic, and I have more here. And his watchful eye is not just limited to the physical; it extends into the limit of the physical. It extends to the mortal and ethical life of man, relating natural. So they really see into his people's souls. There's some
Spicy.
sorts, uh, cosmos emphasize human. Yeah, he's basically just a watchful guy of moral and interaction with nature. So it's like you do bad shit, you burn a tree down, you're bad. I don't know
He's the
where they take you.
Lorax.
I don't. I don't. How bad? And on to his mighty steed known as Makara. Makara is described in mythology as Runa's Vahana, or divine vehicle. Like, I find it funny how divine vehicle. Yes, you shall be my divine vehicle. As is marked as an odd mixture of features, typically resembling a crocodile with certain features that remind one of the power of an elephant. So it is, I believe, a crocodile. It is the body of a crocodile, the head, trunk, and ears of an elephant, the tail of a peacock. There's a lot of, well, India loves elephants.
Oh yeah.
And cows. And cows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised there isn't a cow aspect to this here. But there's a lot of different depictions of how Makara looks. But it's mostly the crocodile body, which is obviously reptilian scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's which is primarily and Makara is like basically the representation that nature's most unpredictable and seemingly stormy elements don't hold an extremely critical position in the universe's order. And in worship here, it says Makara's common personification Runa, which further reinforces the concept of power of the god reigns over all nature. As I get it, I am added in a Discord server. As the imagery also just said, the orderly, not mutual, instead they coexist. So it's just basically saying, even a thing of nature, a thing that protects nature, can coexist with monstrosities. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I guess that's what it means. I think it's like, it's basically, if you find someone weird, they aren't weird. You're weird for not liking them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Makara, he was used as Veruna's steed. As we shall now see what is here. As Veruna and Makara have transcended classical mythology to be a powerful symbols for modern environmental stewardship. Cosmic god of its cosmic water god Veruna and his intimidating Vahana Makara remind us that nature is an enormous web-like system where wild, uncontrolled powers are a natural system. So yeah, that's basically it. And therefore, ancient symbols reminder that governs the cosmic waters in order to harmony, too should be govern our relationship with nature so that human progress does not disrupt the ecological equilibrium. You hear that, people? Stop fucking with nature.
For real.
Yes, I know you found that oil fissure. Don't use that for whatever. You're turning the earth inside out.
That's true. We are like constantly ripping out the Earth's guts and then using it and stuff.
Uh-huh. I'm curious of just like what the earth looks like now compared to when we like reaped it of its resources, like cut into like a topographical kind of style, just sliced. What would the earth look like?
I mean, well, like if you're playing Minecraft and you know, terraform bunch, obviously it looks like a
Yeah.
hole.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, pretty much. And back then the earth was a lot not incredibly significant, but like a lot more colorful because of the healthiness of plants, and animal life was more diverse. Um yeah.
Here, I got one more story here, which I couldn't find the second one that I wrote. I accidentally deleted it.
Oh
I'll just shall read this here. In ancient days, when the gods walked freely amongst mortals, and the oceans whispered secrets of the sky, the mighty deity Varuna rolled over the vast cosmic waters. His domain stretched from horizon to horizon, an effortless realm of waves and tides. Yet, even a god of his stature required a companion to enforce the sacred balance between order and chaos. From the deepest abyss of oceans rose Makara, a magnificent creature born from the mingling of celestial magic and oceanic power. Its body was as robust and agile as a crocodile, scaled with shimmering armor that glowed like starlight dancing on water. Yet its face bore the wisdom and dignity of an elephant, crowned by tusks strong enough to shatter mountains, and a trunk gentle enough to cradle newborn waves. Varuna first laid eyes upon Makara when the oceans grew restless, the waves climbing high enough to threaten the stars. With his golden noose in hand, which is a symbol for something, I forgot what it was. But it's in, the god descends to a shining depth to confront the force behind the chaos. But what we found was not a beast of destruction, but a creature of taming the fury of the sea itself, calming whirlpools with a flick of its mighty tail, guiding lost sea creatures back to calmer currents. You, Varuna called across the deep. What name do you carry? Who claims the wrath of my sea? Who calms the wrath of my sea? The creature turns, eyes calm and unwavering. I am but a gentle guardian of his waves, ensuring balance and peace. It replied in humility. Varuna smiled. Then I shall name you Makara. Makara. Makara, yeah. Like, Makara. You shall ride. That was not part of the story. I just said that. Really pronounced something. Okay. And you shall ride. Shall ride beside me, not as a servant, but as an equal in keeping balance. From that moment, Varuna and Makara became inseparable, journeying through the vast expanses of the seas. They visit submerged temples adorned with coral spires, converse with ancient beings dwelling in ocean's depths, and quelled storms that threatened to disrupt the world's harmony. During one such voyage, they approached a realm where the sacred river Ganga prepared to descend from the heavens to the earth. The force of her impending descent threatened to flood the lands. Recognizing the need for a vessel strong enough to bear Ganga's powerful currents, Varuna turned to Makara. Mighty Makara, Varuna spoke. Only you possess the strength and grace to carry this sacred Ganga safely to the earth. Will you accept this task? Makara bowed his head in acceptance. It will be an honor to serve in this capacity. As Ganga flowed from the heavens, she settled gracefully upon Makara's back. With unwavering resolve, Makara navigated the descent, ensuring that Ganga's waters spread gently across the lands, bringing fertility and life to the earth. In gratitude for Makara's service, temples and shrines along riverbanks began to feature carvings of this majestic creature, symbolizing protection and the harmonious balance between celestial and terrestrial realms. Varuna and Makara, oh my god, cross oceans no mortal could. They journeyed through underwater kingdoms of crystal and coral, visited submerged temples of time, and faced monsters born of chaos. Serpents of flame that slithered through the sea's heart and whirlpools with minds of their own. On one such journey, Varuna pointed in the dark rift in the ocean's floor. He said, "Oh shit, I forgot to change this one. That's not right." Whoa. Whatever, I'll just... Then he said, "Lies the maw of Khan. It devours all time that passes. No light returns." Makara circled the rift steadily, then let us pass not in fear, with purpose. And so they did. As he journeyed through the rift, all memory of time slipped. Makara's resolve and will pulled them to the other side, where the ocean shone like sapphire, untouched by age. Stories passed from generation to generation spoke of Makara's bravery and loyalty, its unwavering devotion to Ganga, and its eternal duty to safeguard the world. And so, every time a fisherman sets sail or a farmer awaits monsoon's rains, they whispered prayers to Makara, protectors of thresholds, guardians of rivers and oceans, and keepers of cosmic order. So TLDR, Varuna, the god of celestial waters, Vahana, Makara on a journey into Rasatawa, mysterious undersea realm. Yeah, that was what was supposed to be that instead of the monster. That is not correct. Along the way of his counters. Attacks like the Serpent King and together discuss. There's supposed to be a part where they see like serpents. Shit, oh, God, I'm silly for this. Yeah, upholding cosmic orders requires respect of realm and the force of nature. Duty and Dharma are central in standing balance in the universe, and even in the mysterious place, threads of order and purpose persist. And like 50 links there.
50 links. There's like 7.
Basically 50.
Basically.
But yeah, they were not creators of anything, but they were protectors that wheeled down storms and shit, which I found pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty epic.
Which usually depictions of gods, they are the ones that create them, create like torrents and whatever. But these ones are like, nah, we stop. But yeah, that is just about it.
That was awesome.
For my part.
For your part. It only took 3 hours. I tease. Did you have any like more ideas or topics to spring off of that, or?
Since this one here is about age, like gods and whatever, and like serpentines, whatever. I remember, I was just really thinking of doing for like another episode, doing one is more like Western, more Nordic, that type of stuff for topics.
Well, that was
and just comparing them both on here. Oh right, I almost forgot a whole part. It was my conclusion here. As
yeah, because I remember you wrote down a conclusion. That's why I asked.
Right. All these deities, Ryujin, Bakunawa, Tiamat, Varuna, and Makara, they represent water as a profound source of transformation and balance. They remind us that nature is not only a provider of, but also a formidable force that demands our respect. Mm-hmm. In these ancient narratives, water symbolizes the eternal cycle of creation and destruction, a very common topic. Than what I saw. Illustrating that growth often emerges from chaos and that every element of nature plays a vital role in maintaining the harmony of the cosmos. In our modern world, environmental challenges such as climate change, pollution, and resource depletion are increasingly urgent. These myths offer timeless lessons on sustainable and ethical stewardship. They remind us that achieving balance between human progress and the natural world. For example, eco-activists sometimes invoke Varuna's image as a symbol of natural, emphasizing the order of the cosmos and, by extensions, our environment must be preserved through responsibility. Beyond environmental discourse, these ancient figures have also left their popular culture. Japanese anime and manga frequently feature sea dragons who water deities inspired by Ryujin, reflecting themes of resilience and the dual nature of the ocean. In the Philippines, festivals celebrating Bakunawa, such as local pageants and parades, blend traditional lore with contemporary art, sometimes portraying the dragon not only as a fearsome lunar devourer, but also as a guardian of balance. Meanwhile, Tiamat's influence can be seen in modern role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. Got a whole section to talk on.
And Spite.
To talk about
Smite.
Where she is reimagined as a multi-headed dragon god, embodies both destructive power and creative potential. These pop culture manifests serves as bridges between ancient wisdom and modern storytelling, reinforcing the idea that respect for nature and the balance between chaos and order remain as relevant today as in antiquity. Yeah, that's right. Ultimately, myths encourage to reflect on our own relationship with nature. They challenge us to honor the forces that give life, to embrace transformation amid hardship, and to work collectively to safeguard, whether through art, literature, or eco-activism. the enduring legacy of these deities aspires to seek harmony in every aspect of it. Yeah, it's. I just really like how even right now how relevant topics even for such old stories are for nowadays.
Yeah.
And how we can still kind of reflect on them for current knowledge.
Absolutely. And on the topic of like things like art, games, fan stories that feature different divine figures and deities, like there's a portion of there's a portion of people who have interest in mythology, whether it's for spiritual reasons or just general interest. But there's that portion of people that believe that remixing the stories, having characters based off the deities, games, whatever, is a form of disrespect to them. But I believe the complete opposite, because like I think about it like if if it were you, for example, and people admired your story and made remixes on it or put you in a video game or in a story that they created, I think that's something that's like very honorable
Yeah,
and
I'd say that too, but to an extent, permission if I was put in a
yeah.
video game.
Well, in the idea that you're a divine being. um but yeah, and I think it's very important, not only just for the storytelling basis and the lessons that these stories of deities um, carry, but they're
Most
also
definitely.
they're also important because for spiritual reasons and giving us perspective of kind of the more woo woo side of things of how, you know, the balance of earth and the balance of dualities, and that's a really big theme through a lot of mythological stories.
Yeah, a lot of Asian like mythology things, um, especially relate to balance and chaos and imbalance.
The yin and yang.
Yeah, the yin and yang. That's another thing that I could have added that as well, but I was like, I want to have one thing for each like region of Asia.
Hmm. Yeah, that was really awesome how you wrote everything out. I really wasn't expecting. You're probably gonna be the one of the most organized people that I'm going to be having on this podcast.
Well, even though yeah, I'm still a bit messy. I like to have
You
a
had
good idea of what
resources,
I'm
you
gonna say.
wrote, like,
Hmm.
holy moly.
Expect that next time in the future, because
I will.
I
I'll be
enjoy
prepared for
writing.
it. I see that, and that's amazing. Um, I did have some things that kind of related because you mentioned topics about like spiritual themes of water and ocean and things like that. So I
Hmm.
jotted down some topics to talk about in terms of um, water and spirituality and symbolism and all that good shit. Um, I will say that the stream has been going on for 3 hours. If you wanted to cut it here, I'm okay with that. But uh, I personally would like to graze these topics and talk about them a little bit
Of course, of
if you have
course.
the time.
I got plenty of free time, as in I have nothing going on
Okay,
today.
awesome. Yeah, because I could yap all day, which part of me was a little bit afraid starting this that we'd like get like 50 minutes in and then we'd just be like, trying to think of things to talk
Hence why I wrote down a somewhat comprehensible
about. Somewhat comprehensible. You
thing.
need to give yourself more credit.
It was hard for me to understand it myself. Like I should have put pronunciation crap.
It was really good.
Thank you.
I appreciated it and I also enjoyed it. Um, I don't know where to start on my topics personally because they're kind of mumbo jumbo everywhere.
Water has memory.
Water has Didn't Olaf say that? in
That's
Frozen 2?
maybe.
He's like, water has memory.
But it also is true.
Yeah. Um. So I don't know what I'm talking about here, to be honest. But I'm just gonna go with the flow based off my own knowledge and experience, which is what this whole podcast is about: experience and knowledge and personal beliefs and things of that nature. But anyway, so quick background. I was raised atheist. Um, which usually, it's the other way around. The person goes to church and then they become atheist. I did the opposite. Mind you, I never went to church, but you know what I mean. And
you're not missing out on anything, I'll tell you that.
So I came from atheism, and again, through my meditation and research upon spiritual topics, a sidestep from atheism. I didn't quite believe at this stage in a higher power of any kind. I was still very much in that atheism belief system, but I did figure that I believed in energy. Some people call it soul energy. Some people call it chi. So kind of the same thing, just different words for it. And which kind of brought me into animistic beliefs, which is one of the oldest belief systems in the world. And it's basically the belief that everything has a soul, every object, every plant, every body of water, etc., and so forth. For me, my beliefs are a little bit more specific than that. Because I feel that, like, if we're talking about a body of water, I personally feel that the body of water has soul energy, which in my depiction is like, well, like that we talked about, that water has memory. There's, memories in the water, and those memories create energies, and so on and so forth. It's a bit hard to explain with words. I'm starting to realize, because it's like I'm very much someone who is a feeler when it comes to spiritual things, and
it's more of something that you gotta experience yourself to really understand.
Yes, exactly. And for me, I'm just I experience my spirituality very physically in my body. If I touch an object, I can feel kind of the energy behind it. Like, let's say if you're at a thrift store and there's like a shirt, and if I were to touch the shirt, I could feel kind of like
an aura.
Yeah, like an sort of, yeah. And it could be like, it could feel like rage or sadness, separation, and I could pick up from that feeling that there could have been like a divorce or a dispute of kinds in that person's life. And that's kind of how I experience it. So if I'm touching water, I can feel, the energy of the ocean and the clarity of the marine animals. Or if it's in a polluted area, it depends what kind of water it is, but and that's kind of where my perspective of symbolism of water comes from, is those animistic beliefs. And it's interesting because I'm still, even to this day, I'm 6 years down the road, and I'm still foraging new ideas and new beliefs, and figuring out how I maneuver in my belief system, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Because throughout the years, I've always been evolving, learning different things, and different things have been resonating with me. And, like in many people's lives, their spiritual beliefs, if they they attune to spiritual beliefs at all, they change so much in their lifetime. Even like non-spiritual beliefs, personal beliefs about the self, about how the way the world works, etc., and so forth. And I only self-identified as a pagan as of last year because of my connection to deities. Um, where was I gonna go? um,
Oh, I also have a question.
oh yeah, go for it.
What kind of connections did you feel?
Like with deities?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'll tell you how it happened. um, so again, I connect with spirit guides. I've always connected with animal spirits, nature spirits in general. So things like fairies, gnomes. One of my favorites personally, Landvatir, which is a Norse land spirit. They can be really, really big, take up whole continents, or they can be really, really small and take up like one leaf, you know? But I felt a new energy and a new presence. It's kind of it's the kind of the feeling of somebody looming over your shoulder, but not like in a creepy way, you know?
I I think I've had a similar experience before.
um and it felt, because like normally with like what I experienced with the animal and nature spirits, it was more like, you know, like the energy you would feel if a pet was near you, kind of deal. It's kind of more subtle and soft.
It's
um
like a thick air, like a border. It
mm,
doesn't feel like something's there. It's like a
it's like there's some,
invisible, like
yeah, it's like you feel like something's in the space, but it's not
you don't see it.
tangible. Yeah. And but this time it felt really, really big, so I thought it might have been a Lanvatir, but it felt older than Earth, you know? Um, it
It had
felt,
an ancient presence.
yeah. and and I always feel when I talk about these things, it sounds really cheesy, but I just try to go with it. Um,
No. Go ahead.
so I'm a tarot reader. I pull out my cards because that's what I do when I connect with a new guide, and I try to figure out who they are by the messages they send and images in the cards as well, and things like that. So I'm shuffling my deck, and I'm like, all right, who's here? And out comes the Wheel of Fortune, and in this deck, it shows kind of like a, how are they called? Like a Sphinx kind of character. Has like wings, very Egyptian. Um, and so that immediately felt extremely ancient to me, and I was like, okay, this is not something of Earth. Nothing to do with
Whoa, alien.
plants.
Whoa,
Alien.
aberration. Point the aberration.
um, and so I go more into depth about who this person is. Actually, I can pull out my notes that I actually took during that session so I can give more specific answers, or details rather. Um, okay, cool. I got it. So I pulled a card to represent them. It was Judgment, and I wrote light work and shadow work, rebirth and creation, evolution, divine energy, recognizes hard work and worthiness. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's kind of general. And I took note of images, angel wings, giving, growing, clouds, evolution. And I'm not going to read all of the details here, but there was a lot of themes of dualities, life and death, um, plants growing, abundance, rights and wrongs, um, and the balance of those things, light, shadow, and death and birth, and all sorts of those kinds of things. And I was trying to feel it out. I thought might have been a big land spirit or some sort of like dragon or other big thing. But it all wasn't feeling right to me. It didn't feel certain, because usually when I'm doing readings, if I'm seeing something and I'm like, oh yeah, that feels right, that feels correct in my body, sometimes I'll get like chills, or like I'll just like feel comfortable. But then if I'm reading something and I'm not quite getting it, I feel like kind of like I need to go forward and that I need to ask more questions and figure things out.
So finding a different method for communication.
Mhm. Um, and so I just, and I was afraid as well, because I previously didn't believe in the existence of deities, and it's the only thing I could think of that could remotely have that kind of presence. And part of me was afraid to have my beliefs shift, because there's a certain vulnerability with that, and you're like, you don't want to feel crazy, you know. um, and so I asked the question that I was scared to ask. I asked, "Are you a deity?" And all of my cards shambled, exploded on the ground. I was like, and it wasn't just like a normal like fubbuttle. It was just like it was a clash. And I was like, holy shit, I did 78 card pickup.
Oh,
And I was like, okay, well, I'll take that as a yes. And that's kind of what started my delving into deities, because of that strong presence. And people like to say the universe, God, whatever, has a sense of humor. And part of me believes that's true. Part of me thinks it's our human perception of their behavior as humorous. But I always say that nothing in life is serious. It's only our perception type deal. And I find that in connecting to spirit guides and deities and the like, it is quite humorous sometimes, because ultimately, in my beliefs, these spirit guides are here as, guides. They help you to maneuver through life and to understand the self and understand kind of the situations and things that you're going throughout your life, and to help you, I guess, be okay with it, even like when things really don't feel okay. Um, and also empowering of the self, and I could go on forever. But um and by the way, totally interrupt me if you have any questions or whatever. Um um and I forgot where I was going with this.
you got this.
um I was writing uh in connecting with this deity, I was writing more details that I was seeing in the cards, and also I get like kind of blips in my brain, like images sometimes. I'm not super
Hmm.
visual with visions and things like that. Like I said, I'm more of a feeler. But this time it was a little bit clearer. So wrote sky clouds, happy, balancing energies, roses, um, clouds, garden, fairies, fertility, and I was like, fairies? Is there gods that do fairy things? And which is really interesting given the stories that we read today. But um, and cutting to the chase, um, it was Persephone, which is the goddess of the goddess of spring, queen of the underworld. I heard,
That's one. She's a Greek goddess, right?
mhm.
That's one I know.
Yeah, she's she's pretty, I'd say pretty popular in like media and stuff. Um, Personally, I think it's because of her harsh duality and also themes of dealing with um kind of feeling entrapped, which is, I feel like, something that a lot of people deal with, especially in the modern age, because of, you know, spooky things in the government and our environmental crisis and also interpersonal feelings of entrapment and feeling stuck in areas, which I think everyone can collectively relate to. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, and I certainly related that way to her as well. But yeah, in a lot of her stories, there's themes of dryads and also with Spring and her mother Demeter. Um, Also dealing with spring and the harvest, and there's lots of dryads and fairy-like creatures in those stories that also are aids to Persephone. Some are not. Like there's this one story. Um, I don't really read the stories because, like I said, I'm not a reader. um, but there's this one story where she's with Hades, and there's this dryad chick that tries to get with Hades, and then Persephone gets pissed and turns her into a mint plant.
Wow, turn plant lady into mint.
Yeah. And it's really funny because it's lore accurate, and one of the offerings for Persephone is mint. But
That's funny.
usually they say that like it needs to be like pulverized or crushed because, of her wrath towards the dryad. But anyway. um but yeah, and it was really interesting figuring that out. And also Persephone is one of the goddesses that also stands for zodiac sign Virgo, and I'm a Virgo. And I had
I'm
a
a Virgo too.
oh sick. Hell yeah for Virgos. Um and I had a reading done by another practitioner about me and Persephone and like kind of like how she sees me and things like that. And the practitioner described our connection. By the way, I didn't tell her it was Persephone. I just said a connection to be general. And sometimes if you give a tarot reader too much information, it
I'll kind of twist it, kinda.
yeah, sometimes. Um or it can be put with a bias and stuff. It just makes it so it's not biased. There's no other hints or anything. But anyway, um and she just practitioner described me and Persephone's connection as like sister like. She said there was a lot of commonalities. And I was like, yep, that is very true. Because like I really relate to even Persephone's story. And this was before I completely decided if I wanted to work with deities or worship them at all. Because I started reading the stories briefly and what they were about, what they symbolized. And I really related to Persephone in both her, especially at this point in my life, her connection and story about her relationship with Hades. Um, and I always take these stories with a grain of salt because they're obviously written by people and everyone perceives it in a different way and has different ways of telling the story. But I related because um, she, skipping the whole abduction thing, she falls in love with him and they get into a relationship and they agree that every 6 months they get to see each other, and every 6 months, in spring, Persephone gets to go back home. And the first time she comes back home, or no, sorry, when she goes away, her mother, Demeter, is extremely depressed and worried about her. And when that happens, that's why winter happens. Because all the crops go dry and the and the land is no longer permeable for plants and crops and things. But
Because they're like plant-related deities or whatever.
yeah,
Like
so
nature.
Demeter is the goddess of the harvest, which is Persephone's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, and then when Persephone comes back in the spring, that's why spring happens, because Demeter is like, oh my gosh, my daughter came back, everything's good again. I know where she is, she's safe. And then all of the plants and, you know, baby animals come and, um but I really relate that to myself because of my relationship with uh my fiance, because we were long distance, such as Persephone and Hades, because he's from the underworld, she's from the overworld or Mount Olympus or whatever. Um, and my parents were not accepting of our relationship, and in fact, demonized my fiance for a very long time.
Ironic.
Right? um, and yeah, and I really related about that kind of aspect to her. And I was gonna go off something off of that. I'm gonna take a sippy sip.
I was gonna add something as well. But I have watched a show that don't know if you heard of it, Blood of Zeus. From what
Mm.
I'm hearing, it sounds pretty from actual history.
Is that the live action one?
No,
Oh.
not the live action. It's an anime.
Oh, no, I haven't
Yeah.
heard of it. No. I heard that there was
That's how I know
this.
about Persephone and like
Oh.
this sounds like very similar
Hmm.
to what I've seen about the kidnapping, the Hades thing.
Hmm.
Her mom's like, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
I didn't even catch that until you said that. But no, the one I was thinking of was the newer Percy Jackson series, which I've heard a lot of bad reviews about. But
Yeah. No.
but yeah, and so that's kind of what really made me ponder the idea of worshiping and what that looks like. And obviously, I did a bunch of research on it to like help me settle my mind, because yeah, coming from having the beliefs of an atheist and then 6 years later connecting with deities, it's pretty much like a 180.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I often have a lot of doubts at times about what it is that I believe. And, I have to tell myself that, it's always shifting, it's going to change, it's doing this to balance itself out and to resonate with me and what I'm going through. And that's kind of how I perceive it. And even if you're someone who, isn't spiritually inclined and likes the stories of the deities and such as yourself, um, there's still so much value to it to learn from and to take into your own experience. Like, there's so many stories that can be empowering, and you never know what you could read that you could really relate to. And
Mm-hmm.
if you know anything about mythology, Zeus,
He
he's
can't keep it in his pants.
he's very problematic in many ways. um and you know getting on a little bit of a deeper subject with that, trigger warning perhaps. um I also related to her because of her experience with Zeus, because you know Zeus, I'm trying to say it in a way that's not
Zeus
super
is
triggering.
Hades' brother, right?
Yeah. Zeus um
Oh.
has had
Oh.
his hand with Persephone in a way that was not okie dokie.
Oh.
Yeah. And I also related to her because of that as well. There's so many layers of her stories that I was just super encapsulated by. And the thing to take away from Persephone's stories, other than, you know, the tragedies that she had endured, is the strength that she self-imposed because of that. She always stood up for herself. She always remained true to what she believed, even though people around her were disapproving or there was other things going on that was making her life difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I that really spoke to me as well. Um, there was this one time where I was up late at night and I couldn't sleep, and I was still new to connecting with Persephone. Well, newer anyway. Um, and I was like asking her questions because she seemed to want to focus on some things with me about self care and self love and making sure me is good. And I was like asking her questions about like what she wanted me to like do for her offerings and worship and things like that. And I heard this sharp, extremely loud owl-like screech, and I saw these piercing blue glowing eyes for a brief second. And then I pulled more cards that were basically telling me to go to sleep. So I was asking her a bunch of questions about like what I could do for her. She was like, "You know what you can do for me? Go the fuck to bed."
That sounds like a self-care type thing, definitely.
Yeah. And she's very fierce about her messages and what she portrays because she is that very strong character. Um, she feels very strongly about a lot of things, and yeah, she's she's very caring. She wants to make sure everybody's again taken care of. She, you know, queen of the underworld, taking care of people who are passing. You know, goddess of spring, making sure everything's lively and healthy. Um, and yeah, that's just kind of my experience with her. Um, we totally kind of went off topic of water.
Well, I found this very interesting, though.
Yeah. Um, talking about animism. Talked about Landvatir. Oh yeah. So Landvatir, I'm gonna go double back on that. As I mentioned, they are land spirits. Can be as big as a whole continent. Can be as small as a leaf. Um, there's a lot of differing beliefs as to what exactly they are. Some people interpret them as past ancestors that look over the land. Some of them view them as like a collective of the people who used to live in the land before into one being, kind of like a mishmash.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I keep bringing up Frozen because it's the only thing that I could really like connect it to. Have you seen Frozen 2?
Yep.
So
Plenty.
in Frozen 2, there's that scene where Anna is on the river and there's those rock giants that she's
Like
trying not to wake up.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, you see the
The
giants?
big guys.
Yeah. So that's kind of what a Landvatir is. I don't know if the creators of Frozen ever came out and said like, yeah, these are supposed to depict Landvatir, but that's kind of like what they are. They're just guardians of the land, and they look like land, in various different forms and shapes and sizes. Um, and yeah, there were so many things I related to spiritually in Frozen 2. Like the whole thing with Elsa being one with the
Able to like
elements.
and like just hearing voices and stuff and trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
her past and where she came from
Yes.
and finding the origin of why their parents set off.
Mm-hmm. So with the element of water, um, it could be said in the terms of belief of the Landvatir, there can be water Landvatir. Um, there's lots of different interpretation of land spirits, or well, I guess land spirits, but I was trying to say water spirits, and whether
Elemental spirits.
elemental spirits or deities of the water. Some people believe that they make up the water, like they are the body of waters themselves. But in terms of the element, water often stands for things like intuition because of the ability to reflect in the water, and divination. It's connected with the moon as well.
I'll say it's been a very fun convo though.
Yes, it has. And again, thank you so much for coming on here and writing your whole fucking book about water deities and Asian folklore.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was not expecting that at all.
I had fun writing it, so
I'm glad.
win-win.
Win-win for sure. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss on the topic?
Hmm.
Same.
I don't know. I'm thinking of kappas. Do you know what kappas are?
I do know what kappas are, mostly because of Animal Crossing. Um, but all I know
The
about
sailor
them,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Cap. His name's like Captain or something.
Yeah,
Right?
Captain. Because he's a captain and he's a kappa and
Yeah,
he's a
he's a
captain.
captain. He's a captain. He's a kappa captain. And I think it's something about that they try to steal people's butts or something.
What?
I forgot what it was. It has something to do with butts.
In Animal Crossing?
No.
Oh.
In like yokai folklore.
Right.
What did they do? He was known to attract men in order to sink them and eat their flesh.
So they're kind
Where
of
did
like
I hear
sirens
about
as well.
butts?
Rex says they do bad things, don't look it up.
Why is it specifically men? I'm kind of scared. If you were touched by a kappa, you have no way to escape. You'll be under his control. There are two ways to escape. First, kappa has an obsession with cucumbers that they consider better with human flesh, which is good for you. Just feed him his cucumber and we thank you for sparing his life.
Weird.
And it was customary for people to throw in the river cucumber with their name of their children.
Rex says anything a criminal does, kappas do to both men and women and drowned children.
As well, their dates of birth. This where their family thought oh my god, this is very. They were spared for at least 1 year because they had fed the yokai. If you don't have a cucumber on hand, you second degree. What does that mean? Oh, okay. And rare politeness is when he greets you in return. It is at the exact moment you will run as far as possible. Yeah, there's this I've noticed in media and like animes and like other Japanese how like mid transformations and whatever how they like respect each other. They don't like hit each other mid transformation and whatever. Because it's like a customary thing with I forgot. I am thinking things, but it is a show of respect and thing.
Yeah, it's honorable.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember where it originated from, but my brain isn't braining.
Yeah. Basically, Rex says There's a story of a Kappa who protected a village and raised the daughter of a fallen soldier to the country he protected. That sounds like the tale of in Dressrosa and One Piece. You know what I'm talking about, Rags? Maybe the fallen soldier was the Kappa. There's so many overlaps in um, spiritual figures, creatures, deities, and things like that, especially in the stories, because they all hold very similar um, like abilities and very similar themes in the stories. Like again with the whole Kappa thing actually being a past one, and then you know some people believe that Landvatir are ancestors and past loved ones. There's some stories of fairies that people believe to be actually the souls of past loved ones. Um,
And people saying that they see a sea serpent. No, it's actually a whale's penis.
yeah.
They see manatee. Think they see mermaids, but no, it's a manatee.
uh, the reason I the story that I heard, the reason why the whole manatee thing happened was because there was drunken sailors and or pirates who were so drunk and in haze that they thought the manatees were mermaids, and they also have uh, um, reproductive organs very similar to humans.
Yeah, they have because they're mammal.
Yeah, mammal.
Mammals. Oh no. Did they do what I'm thinking of? I hope not.
Did you find some spooky lore?
Oh no, I was I was waiting for a response from you if they did something with the manatees.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Uh
Yup. And that's how they got leprosy. A kappa has. Oh, here's some lore from Rex. A kappa has a bowlish-like head that holds
oh,
water. They are held with high respect, and if you bow to them, they will bow back. If you bow deep enough, the water will pour out, and they will go weak. I looked up a video and found the butt thing you're referring to. Is that kappas have 3 buttholes and
what?
prank humans by farting on them if they don't bow deep enough or just want to mess with them.
What? Yeah, that's literally like I just saw a little snip just off the corner of like of an article. I just saw Kappa butt. That's just something I just saw. I was like, I'm not
Dude,
gonna read this.
3 buttholes for the purpose of farting on people is goddamn hilarious.
It got censored in chat.
Did it really?
Yes, it's
I can see it
butthole
on my
and
screen.
butt.
They evolved to be the perfect pranksters. Fart spray got nothing on kappas. That's so funny. And also the behavior of kappas also sounds very similar to sirens slash fairies, which some people argue that mermaids are another type of fairy. Um, as are vampires and elves, they also say those are also types of fairies. Um, but yeah, that kappa behavior also sounds like fairy behavior.
I can kind of understand the vampire idea with the whole like some elves are depicted as cannibals.
Sorry, what's a
Um,
cannibal?
how sometimes elves are pictured as cannibals, or depicted as
Oh,
cannibals.
hmm.
Other than that, I can't really think of anything. But the whole being like related to fairies and whatever with that does check out.
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, and as
'Cause
well as
they
in
are
like.
trickster creatures. They do things that are, mischievous.
Hmm.
At the same time, like you said, Rex, there are good Kappas. There are fairies who are nice, and they're nice if you respect them and you show them reverence. If not, they kind of fuck your shit.
Yeah, and they're nice fish, like me.
Nice quiz.
And if you aren't nice to me, I will drown you.
Oh, that could be cool. The one who raised the daughter became a samurai. At least the story says so. That's literally
Hmm.
the story of Dressrosa. Anywho, my brain tired now.
My brain's tired too. Oh my god, we've been 4 hours, 14 minutes.
4 hours yapping. I think that's a record for me, honestly.
Huh. Well, when you get two creatures, you get a cacophony of thoughts.
Yes. I mean, the longest stream I ever did was 8 hours, but I wasn't talking the whole time, obviously. But yeah, this is the longest I've gone straight talking.
Just straight talking.
Yeah. Other than, actually, no, that doesn't count. I was gonna say my voice acting streams, but those don't usually go up to 4 hours.
It's usually you aren't starting a conversation, it's just you're talking.
Yeah.
Though.
Unless you had any other questions or topics to talk about, I think that pretty much concludes the first ever uh, podcast. Did you miss your
Yeah.
podcast?
Now that was an hour of talking nonsense, excluding the in-betweens.
Yeah.
Did you write down an outro?
Nope. I'm really bad at outros, so I usually just wing it.
um,
Check out Carp. When Carp goes live, Carp you're a variety streamer, right?
yeah.
Like games and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
Any
I mostly play. I do a lot of screaming. I do a lot of screaming. But that's yeah, so that's the fun part of it. No, I won't say it's the fun part. It's just something that happens.
Hey, what do you stream? I scream.
I scream. I'm a professional shrieker, professional banshee.
Alright, well, everybody go check out Carp. Carp is on Twitch at Founder Carp.
Yeah.
They are cool. They do all sorts of gamings and screaming. Officially. Um, and thanks everyone for joining and tuning into today's live podcast. It was super interesting, and thank you again, Koi. I called you Koi.
Oh, now I'm feeling quite coy now.
Thank you, Carp, for all the work that you put into this and reaching out and connecting with me too.
Yeah. And thank you for I am honored to be the first guest on the first episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We will be resuming stream on regular tomorrow on Thursday in the evening, so you can catch me then. And do you have a schedule, Carp?
I have Pathfinder tomorrow at like, oh my god, what time is that? That's like 7 a.m. Pacific.
Nice. Yeah, go check out Carp tomorrow, and go check out me tomorrow too. And until then, we'll see y'all next time.